When last we left our heroes. Did you hear that, boys and girls? That's the sound of my new fucking dice box.
Happy birthday!
Yes, that's right. Azarine made me a real-ass dice box themed like a book, and it says, when last we left our heroes on the cover, which at this point is my goddamn catchphrase. And
Well, it was your
beautiful.
fucking birthday and you didn't tell anyone?
No, it's tomorrow!
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's
Don't
tomorrow.
lie!
Don't worry. Don't
you
worry.
made me have a heart attack. I was like, no, I fucking wrote it down as tomorrow.
No,
Wow,
bro, don't
you
worry.
leave me 4 hours.
But,
Fuck you.
listen.
I need a first opportunity to be a good friend. Come on.
Part 2 is, and she gave it to me early because we played D&D literally the 3 days before, like, the actual birthday event. So it would have been a whole ass week before I got the chance to use it. So I have this early birthday gift from Azra, and I want to thank her very much.
Just my gift to you
Is your
partially,
undying
let
love.
You know about the fucking Tom Hanks Mazes and Monsters, which I just learned was his first film debut.
Whoa, that's terrible. I can't wait
Oh
to
my
see it.
God.
God, that art though. That's a beautiful gift. My gift to you is acknowledging the cube. Anyway, we're gonna start.
Yeah, cute!
When last we left our heroes, we find ourselves resting on board of a steamship owned by the Riverboat Corps. The 4 of you have decided to rest up and try to leave whatever kind of cognizant awareness that you have behind. Gareth. The rest of you party members are actually enjoying a beautiful view as you come across Umbridge Run. It's been a few days since your misadventure on the riverboat of Winthrow. And I believe you guys handed over the book that was in at Trading Post number 2. I believe you found some literature there and deposited it with the captain of this boat, Kurt Lisa. I think that's a general confirmation.
Did we determine what it was?
It was a records from the captain of that particular trading post who had unfortunately deceased by the time you come across him. I'm fairly certain you gave it to the captain.
Yeah, we gave it to them.
Yeah.
So,
No big deal. Mm-hmm.
That was a few days ago, right? So can we, like,
Or
Sure.
get ourselves rested and, like...
Yes, absolutely.
Alright.
I do believe it's been 4 or 5 days. We're on day 19 now. And so
Christ.
you guys turned the final corner of the Winthrow River, and before you see a tremendous shadow off in the distance. How about, don't everybody roll perception, but do you all know what your passive perceptions are? That's a number that we should all probably know.
13.
13?
I mean, it's like 12, I think, but
12.
it's 0 right now. I'll tell you that much, bro.
All right, yeah. That's a
let me
negative
just-
10 for Gareth.
Let me just.
Yeah, there's that
There we
sound.
go.
Mm. Yeah, it's just a good number for everybody to know, because sometimes I'll want to double check it. But yeah, everybody who's kind of on board, it's not difficult to see off in the distance.
I was
you
wrong.
see,
It's 14.
14 from Valerie. That's excellent. Beautiful. There's another sound of a bottle popping off. You see tremendous spires off in the distance, and suspended from them is a long road over the water. It's like maybe 100 feet up over the water. It is a bridge. It is the Umbridge. The Umbridge Bridge. Made by John Umbridge in the late 1458. It's a work of art, really. It is tremendous in its size and beautiful in its design. It is made from beautiful white slate that has definitely aged over time to like a muted gray, and faint fog rolls across the, not ocean water, still river, but this is where the brine would meet the fresh water. Here, interesting fish dart in between the shadows as you go across this more open expanse of water. There's a faint roll below you. There is a minor tide, nothing too extreme. Gareth, roll a Constitution saving throw. Excellent. You immediately feel uncomfortable with the world around you. Being unfortunately aware yet again you are on the river. Within
Do I
about...
have any alcohol left?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, you have at
Okay,
least
no,
2
yeah.
casks. You have a final one to
no,
pop
he,
into.
He just, as soon as he starts to feel unwell, he just immediately just leans back and fucking takes a good 2-3 chugs.
You look at the dog and go, the final one, and then start chugging it.
Yeah.
The dog at this point has become a dear friend of yours. Your only companion here in the basement.
Who cares?
You're
Check
within.
up on him occasionally.
You throw him some scraps. Within 10 minutes, the boat pulls up alongside. Well, you see a small dock off in the distance, and the shadow of the large bridge where it meets the land is not a trading post, but like a town, like a small village, something that looks like the extension of a larger city. Today is a foggy day, unfortunately, but off in the distance, you do see in this late afternoon sun some lights off on the horizon. More of the city of Queen's Landing. This city occupies several islands that lay out in the delta of the Windthrow River, and tries to follow out the archipelagos, the various islands that go out into the western seas. And these large towering bridges stretch from one island to the next. Today you can only see this particular section of it, though. The steamboat slowly pulls to a stop. The paddle begins to pull away and it reverse its motion. So there's a faint lurching, and you are brought alongside a old wooden dock with several other boats around. Off in the distance, you see a few large galleys with row after row of oars sticking out of the side, mostly relying on wind. There's a faint breeze. It's faintly salty, and there's other smaller boats as well. Some have ornate red tapestry for their sails. You would recognize that as something being more from the South Seas and the Yang Seas. You see a few long ships that are from the far north. Queen's Landing finds itself as one of the topmost trading posts of this world. You are free to help as you please. You see Riverboat Corps just kind of unloading some of their boxes, some of their cargo. There's a few places where the boards are new and raw from where they have replaced the damaged lightning-struck wood from the previous storms a few days ago with the new lumber that you guys brought from the now lost encampment. And the gates from the bottom of the ship begin to open up, and once again a small crane is lowered over top, and some stores are started to be moved to and fro. Captain Lisa and a recovered now Corporal Rogers, he has a crutch under one arm, whittled from some basic branches essentially, approaches the three of you. You at this point, I believe, know that you were departing. You guys have kind of probably put on your cloaks, your armor. You've gotten your bags together and suited up appropriately. And the captain extends a hand to each of you in kind. Do all three of you, am I safe to assume that you take and shake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Excellent. Garrett, he leans over and just goes, "Hey! Time to get out of the my cargo hold. Enough lazing around, you landlubbers. All right, now the three of you have done a great job for me, four of you. I've done a great job for me."
Garrett stands up and just kind of just looks at him tiredly because he remembers, even though he's been drunk for the past 5 days, he does remember the look that what was he? Not Colonel, Corporal
Rogers?
What was he? Yeah, was that the one who was just talking?
The captain was the one who's currently talking.
Captain, sorry, the captain. He does remember how the captain looked at him after he came up from killing the fucking giant.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you remember.
He's yes.
And when you eventually get to the top, he shakes your hand firmly as well.
Yeah, he takes it, firm grasp.
Well, I think this is as far as I'm going to be taking the four of you. You've done fine work for me, and if you're ever looking for any kind of opportunities with the Riverboat Corps, I guess I could put in a good word for you, I suppose, he says.
We appreciate it.
And the corporal kind of rolls his eyes and goes, "No, we really mean it. Thanks a lot. You really helped us out. If you wanted to stick around a bit longer, we're going to be sending some messengers to the Riverboat Corps captain in this area. There might be a reward for the trading post, but you're going to have to stick around and actually getting it."
Reward? For what?
Well, for helping us get the hell out of that fucking spider-infested, kobold-overrun nonsense trading post, and also recovering the records from the office of what happened previously beforehand. I don't know if there is something. Maybe just some pennies to throw away. Maybe we can at least spend or pay for a night.
I suppose sticking around a little bit longer wouldn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, I guess we could do something like that. Well, it's between the four of you. We'll be down by the docks. We're planning on staying the next few days to load up, and then we're going to be heading back to Kirith. If you need anything, just remember Rogers and the Captain Lisa here will do fine by you as well. Yeah, all right. Yes, fine. We'll do what we can. Nobody go and get hurt or anything. This is a bit of a dangerous part of town. All right.
We're very aware.
Dangerous.
Listen, people looking to make a quick buck, a little cut purse here or there. Just watch your bags.
Purkill cocks an eyebrow and tightens her cloak around herself and her probably wears 20 pounds of jewelry. She's probably wearing 20 pounds of gold.
The majority of her body weight is in jewelry, actually.
Oh my god.
Valerie was wearing her like exquisite little like Kirith outfit to like kind of remain anonymous in Queen's Landing, and she seems a little uncomfortable with her decision now.
Well, why don't you all just take a second to roll a perception check for me, just to kind of survey your own surroundings. You guys are currently standing on the boat. Gareth is probably avoiding looking at. He's probably like looking up, like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, so I'm gonna have him roll perception at disadvantage.
Fair enough.
I'm in bright, colorful
Everything's fine.
pastel.
Damn it.
Okay, 11 Gareth, 12 Azarine, 6 Valerie, 20 Boog. Okay, Boog killed. You're kind of like fucking cutthroats, and you look, or cut purses, and you look around. You're kind of like a little bit more astute because you're like, I have something to lose. But no, you look around, and most of the city folk here are. You see, various peoples of various colors and shapes. Quite a few tieflings. It seems like tiefling and human is the majority that you see in front of
They
you.
look poor.
That I'm gonna have you roll a general investigation check for. We're in Umbridge Run, which is a sub-province of Queen's Landing, similar to how Manhattan is part of New York City, or Queens is part of New York City. Umbridge Run is part of Queen's Landing.
Anyone who looks remotely poor looks like a cut purse to Brookehild, because that's just how rich people are.
'Cause you're
They're
classist.
terrible.
Did you roll investigation yet, or and I missed it, or an 18? Okay. No, you look around and it seems for the most part this is a upper to middle class. There's a few people who are kind of like, it's for the poor. Like there's, rattling some cups on the sides of roads. But for the most part, this is just a generic port town. Most of the people here seem to be fishermen or traders. You see several people in fancy ornate robes, and you see one person who has like a giant behind them. You see a small tiefling with round ram-like horns and several jewels that hang off of the tips of their horns like piercings almost. And behind them is this tremendous stony-skinned person carrying a chest, like a treasury chest, like that's the person's personal wallet. And you see a few other people who are on horseback, some like small riding horses or ponies. A carriage goes by every now and then as well. This is some place that seemingly has plenty of people with plenty to do. But there's also plenty of people who stick to the alleyways and maybe take a long drag from a long pipe and have a bit of a seedy look to them. Maybe they're
go
just
full strider.
Full strider off in the distance. Yeah, there's a few inns that are immediately advertising. They seem full up. This is just the port side immediately, and so it's just mostly like warehouses, and then over off in the far distance, down but a single road, you can see a bazaar. Several people that are trying to hawk their wares. Like some stuff is getting off of boats and immediately going to sale at kiosks. Like they are literally carrying the boxes like 30 feet, handing it off to somebody else, and then that is cracked open and immediately stuff is being put on shelves. For the most part, it's a lot of to and fro of like boxes of spices, barrels of ale, salted fish, like things that are more like generic full things that are just like going from wagon to wagon, being pulled by these tremendous draft horses, like absolutely honking muscular animals. But there's also a lot of like smaller things to purchase from as well. I don't know who does or doesn't know this, but I have since updated the Google Doc link in our shop tab, and it has a few extra things that are representative of the interesting things that you could find in Umbridge Run. As you go through the various kiosks looking left and right amongst the various peoples, a few shops, there'll be a few things to look at. But there's some immediate stuff to deal with right now, which is getting off the boat.
Okay, so we're still with the captain, yeah?
Yep. Just letting you know what your mind's eye saw from afar.
Okay. So are we supposed to stay around the boat to wait to get the quote unquote reward? Just courtesy.
Tell you what, there's an office over there for the Riverboat Corps. Come by tomorrow morning, and we'll probably have something. If you don't show up, we'll assume you had more important things to do.
Fair enough. Captain. A moment, please.
All right.
And Garrett kind of shifts around through his pouch and then pulls out a small wooden object. A token for a smoother ride. Quite obvious I don't do well with these sorts of things, but at least that was a more pleasant one, at least.
Sure, why don't you roll sleight of hand for me to determine...
to see how well I did?
Schrodinger's parcel that you've just handed this man. All right, yeah, you hand him a small, ornately carved animal. It's a what?
Yeah, it's pretty smooth, but it's I tried to carve the dog companion who was with me for
All right. Well, in that case, you've
Yeah.
done probably quite a fond job. A 15 is well above the average individual's
I
ability.
mean, like,
to
there's
talk.
no like details. It's probably like smooth, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's probably like you know, there's probably not really like eyes or whatever. Like, I don't have like detailed fur on it, but like,
The captain rolls his eyes, and then you put it in his hands, and he kind of he looks down, and you see like, he's very like taken aback by it, and he holds it up to his eyes. And goes, "Oh, Porthos!" And you hear like a bark from downstairs. Oh, shut up, you mangy animal! I love it.
I'm glad.
And he puts it in his pocket.
Good day. And I mean, if we're all good, I mean, Garrett's done here.
They-
guys
Dude's
don't want to be in
probably
the water.
already like left the boat. You
Yeah.
know, dwarves and the ground.
Relatable.
Yes, at last.
Dwarves on the
Relatable.
ground, fucking a relationship that is timeless, really.
It's not
Um,
that they mind, like they don't mind the water. It's just, you know,
Sure.
there's
Gareth,
no rock there.
roll a wisdom
Yes.
saving throw, please.
Yeah, I got you, homie.
Yeah.
Saving throw. Wisdom. Hey.
Mm. You sprint through the trees. Smell of burning pie and lumber on your nose. Something that smells kind of like charred meat off in the distance. Something cooking, but with much less savoriness to it. No salt, no pepper, no seasoning. Nothing but the dry lumber cracking in your ears as you come closer to the village center. You see people with torches trying to illuminate the darkness of the night. There's nothing more than the full moon otherwise. Hey, the rest of the party? Gareth is frozen, just kind of staring at the water off the side of the boat.
You okay there?
Oh, excuse me. No. I'm fine. Glad to be off the boat.
I can't.
Garrett kind of just gives him his face like there's some little slaps and kind of tries to snap himself back and kind of walk away. Just follow the party towards the town.
Sure.
If the DM allows me.
The gangplank creaks uncomfortably underneath your feet as you take one step onto it. Then another bends uncomfortably beneath your weight. You stop for a moment, testing it. You take another step, and eventually you find yourself onto the hardwood docks of Umbridge Landing. Umbridge Run, rather.
All right.
See, you made it. Wasn't that hard?
Gareth, you have 2 casks of ale left over.
He doesn't. He's gonna be saving that for later.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be saving that for later. Thank you for letting me know. How much did they weigh?
I believe 5 pounds each.
Okay.
They're hardy barrels.
Gotcha. Adding that right now.
They're like the
As-
they're like those barrels underneath like the Malamutes
The-
that are
the
supposed to
thing,
rescue.
yeah.
Ezrin gets off the boat and kind of like she stays with the party, but she's as far away from Gareth as she can possibly get.
He doesn't. He doesn't really pay her much mind. Like he. Hold up. Hey, Gray. Do I remember?
Remember what? I said I actually don't know what you're referring to.
The Azarine Gareth
Oh
interaction.
shit. Good question. I think this is a test of wisdom, really, not a wisdom saving throw, just a generic wisdom check.
Okay.
There's a chance that you don't remember.
Probably not. Yeah.
There's a hazy something. There's
Yeah.
like
There,
something.
like she's
Something
like,
about
she, like
Azarine?
he notices, but he's like. Mm.
What was it? Did Azarine said something, or I had something to tell her, or something about magic. I don't remember what though.
Probably not as bad. Anyways, yeah, he kind of just kind of shrugs that off, like he doesn't seem important. If it was important, he would have remembered.
Don't we all? Don't we
Yep,
all?
That's I wish. God, I wish that were me.
God, I wish that were anyone.
God, fuck.
Yeah, you guys walk down the long streets. I'm not exactly sure what you're looking for precisely, but we're gonna go with the general narration in the meantime.
Sure.
It's kind of dusty cobblestone roads. The roads are in fact paved, cobblestone pieces that are put in place with mortar. There are some gutters along the side. It's not like these well-planned, put-together, artful designs. There's no like oil lamps like in Kirith or anything like that. It's just like you presume when it becomes nighttime, the only places that are lit are indoors. Maybe there's someone who walks around with a lantern that's like part of town watch, but there's no like fancy oil lanterns or anything like that. There's a few people that are kind of like, there's some cocked top hats, a few people wearing kind of like knitted gloves to keep them warm. At this point, the summer has kind of already begun to come to a close. I don't know if you guys remember, but in Fort Dolahan, they were celebrating like a harvest festival. The summer is kind of drawing to an end, and that was almost a month ago come now. So there's a little bit of a chill in the air, especially here in the island area off the sea. A faint salty breeze kind of fills your nostrils. A few people give you some eyes, give you some looks. It seems like the idea of an Orkeven is a little bit of an odd sight here, but nobody says anything. There's no like nefarious purposes or anything. It draws some eyes. Just something a little bit out of the character.
I do want to say Gareth is in like it's like Inquisitor like casual, like he's not in the full splint armor, like that is like kind of packed away in his pack.
Sure. Are you maybe not going out of your way to look like a civilian necessarily, but you're not
No, I know he's not going out of his way to look like he's he's just walking like he would normally would. He's not like investigating anything, right?
Sure.
Like he's just he maybe looks like he's like he's probably just off duty or something.
Sure, understandable.
Because like the jacket that he has is obviously Inquisition, right?
Okay. Are you gonna say that like I want to keep a low profile? Because I'm gonna have you roll stealth.
I'm not gonna do nothing stupid.
Yeah, I understand. Don't worry. There's not extreme success versus extreme. It's not a binary of pass or failure. It's just a question of is Gareth trying to keep a low profile, and if so, then he's going out of his way to perform this action. I will have him roll stealth. But not all stealth is nefarious. Some stealth is just like, when you stop and wait for the carriages to go by, you put your arms you cross your arms, and maybe your fingers cover like the insignia to make sure that nobody might get the wrong idea.
Looking like you're not sneaking around is also stealth.
Yeah, that is an art unto itself. Yeah.
I mean, he's not sneaking around. It's not like he doesn't look like he's not sneaking around. I mean, I'm just like he's just walking.
All right. Well, I'll leave that as that then.
Yeah.
The rest of you.
I do want to say he is looking at any posters or postings.
Sure. Roll a perception check for me to see what your
perception.
Yes.
All right.
15.
You rolled decent.
I will remember that as we move forward down the line.
Thank you.
You see several boards. A lot of them are kind of like help wanted signs, like for bakers and like looking for handyman to move bins. But you don't see like any wanted posters here necessarily. Not yet, but we'll come back. We'll keep that 15 in the backs of our minds, or at least hopefully you will, because I'll forget what the number was. Probably in about 28 seconds or so.
15.
Do you remember 15? Yeah, 14. With the four of you, I've already messed up the numbers. With the four of you going down the roads, you are just kind of privy to a lot of sights and smells. There's definitely some bakers here. A lot of people are kind of like calling out to you, like, 5 silver, fine sweet loaf, and people trying to just like hawk their wares at you. Someone kind of holds up just like good feed. Yeah, some people have quite the nice pastries, and they're kind of like just holding them out for you with one. They have one empty hand, kind of like waiting to get money from you, and then someone else is just like 5 silver, sweet roll.
5 silver sweet roll.
Yeah, they're just kind of like trying to thrust things out. It doesn't seem like they speak common. I'm not going to try and afflect some kind of foreigner's accent because that'd be a little bit racist to me.
Do you have...
Unless it was ancestries of my own, but someone with a strong Dutch accent.
What language are people talking? I have Dwarven, Imperial, and Common.
A lot of Imperial. There's quite a bit of Dwarven. A lot of Elvish is on the tongues of people as well.
Hey,
I would like some Dwarfish buns.
This looks like someone who's like probably in like they're of elven descent. Looks like a strange mixture of perhaps dwarven and elvish. They have a curly beard, but they're very tall with pointed ears, and they're trying to throw their buns at you. But you give them no mind as you press by. Continuing down.
I want the buns.
All right, I'll give them silver.
5 silver. That's Garrett's money.
Sure, you take 5 silver out of your inventory, and Brookild has received a sweet roll.
Yay.
I did throw the silver at you. That's right.
He just threw 5 silver at her because she was complaining that he stole her booze.
That is true. This is the steal money. A few people have like one person is just like, beware the legendary sword of Vile the Enchanter. No, it's one of a kind. No, buy one get one free. Damn it! All right, fine. And holds
The legendary blade
and puts away the 2 swords. trying to find other people to buy them. If other people kind of like hold up necklaces, someone has like a pet like bazaar, like they have like a strange like two-headed falcon that they're trying to like get somebody to purchase as well, and stuff like that. You guys, you see a few charm sellers. You see a few stores that are more like brick and mortar and are clearly more upstanding, more entrenched in the local economy than just these other people.
Have we passed any inns?
Not yet. Well, 15 perception, right? There's a few farther down the way. All the inns that are like closer to the docks are full up. They're full of sailors. They're full of people who are just like, they move, like a whole crew of people came in the night before and they're just full up. So you got to go further inland.
That's
but
fair.
yeah, you could find one. Do you want to be there? Do you want to be there now?
Yeah, I mean, Gareth's gonna say, before we do anything, I believe we should find some place to settle for the night, some place to return to.
Azri nods.
Brookhilde kind of, makes one of those like snarky faces, and she says, it seems like that alcohol didn't melt all of your brain cells.
Gareth ignores that.
Do I know what a brain cell is?
Surely.
I said that. Do we know what brain cells are?
The concept of cells is a neo-scholarly thing. People are brought up to the academy, but they laugh them out, surely. Small organisms that make up a whole body? Nonsense. Yeah, anyway. So we're going to prioritize.
Stick that to brain, then. All that boost has not melted your entire brain.
There you go.
You think, Pan. The humors. Unsettled the humors. Okay, so we're going to prioritize in?
Yeah, just so we have like a home base, and then we can go on.
Sure. In about 15 to 20 minutes of walking down various roads, eventually you find signs that are more away from. As you kind of leave the bazaar area, the market area, and get more into where like the residents are, people who are away from the port, and maybe they have other jobs, like they're just smiths or silversmiths or farmers, and like there's farmland around here. And when you get more into like the more settled area, the more mundane area, you can see a few inns, mostly like taverns that are free up. Have a few.
Wait. Sorry, I forgot to. How many days? I didn't mark down any rations for the boating.
Oh, yes. Everyone mark down 4 rations. Thank you very much for reminding me.
Sorry.
4. So
Yes.
I have.
Mark down
I have
4
way
rations.
too much stuff on me right now. That makes no sense.
Everybody got those rations marked off?
Yep.
Yeah, still have quite a bit, honestly.
Coolio. This is kind of the question for you guys. Are you what level of commodities are you looking for in your inn? Obviously, there's like standards of living.
A bed.
So like
Bathtub?
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Roll20 general lifestyle expenses, but there's a few things that are kind of like when it comes to collecting like stuff for food, water, places to sleep. Are you guys looking at like bare bones basic, like a few silver for a night, or are you guys like, no, we'll shell out a few, like a couple gold, maybe a few gold, and like we'll eat well.
I would like to be comfortable. I don't want to
Sure.
Brookhill's standard of comfortable. Brookhill's standard of bare minimum is not the same as the rest of the party.
Understandable.
That's why Gareth is leading the group towards this inn.
Gareth, you eventually find some place known as the Prancing Mare. It is a small stallion sign that is ready outside with a small tavern. You hear people inside. It's quiet. It's the late afternoon. People are sort of getting lunch, and when you step inside, the swinging doors is very saloon-style seating, large oval seats, and a barmaid and a bar lad walking to and fro with various plates of food. There are 2. You look up, and this is like a 4-story building, and you see 4 balconies up, and it's just a spiral staircase that runs around the outside of the building, all the way up, and you see multiple rooms along the inner circle track of this building going up to the top. What do you do? Oh, there's a hardy looking dwarf behind the front counter.
So okay. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was lost in the sauce. I was lost in the details, bro. Yeah, Gareth is satisfied, I think, with this place.
Apparently, he's taking too long to decide, and Brookhill decides that she's gonna go hit up the dwarf in the back.
Brookhill hits up the dwarf.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, it's not like she sees dwarves every day. I mean, she doesn't have like any.
They're pretty
other
spread out
dwarves
in the
her
setting.
Party. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty
So,
spread out.
So she shows up and she greets him in perfect dwarvish, of course, which I will not subject you to.
That's all right.
I do not speak Faroese.
He responds in Faroese, aka Dwarvish in our setting.
Why, hello there, my young lady. Nice to see a lass like yourself around here. How can I do you for?
Oh no. I know that voice.
Oh no, am I in trouble?
No. Different campaign.
Just
Different-
continue.
She gestures to her retinue, and of course, still in dwarvish. She asks, have you got room for me and my partners here? We're looking for a place to stay. We're not sure how long we'll be here, but
How many
your
rooms?
establishment looks mighty fair.
The fairest on the street. But how many rooms, lass?
She looks up to 4.
I don't know Dwarvish. You can ask me.
That's true. Does anybody? I don't think anybody else in the party knows Dwarvish.
I mean, I guess it's like single bed rooms, right?
Well, that's between you and you guys. If you wanted to, obviously it's by the room, so it's going to be more expensive for everybody to get their own room, but rather than like bringing in cots or extra mattresses, which they're capable of doing. But it might be what you guys want to do. Once again, living comfortably versus living a little bit more sparingly. Your choice.
I don't think anyone wants to be in the same square kilometer as Brookehild when she's sleeping.
Understandable.
I'm
All
guessing
right.
she'll have her own room.
12 rooms then. That'll be, let's see here. That's gonna be
The nicest, of course.
the nicest.
Azarine whispers to Brookehild, if it helps, I'm willing to perform if it'll lower any costs.
Brookehild, she gestures like at Azarine, like I gotcha, and she says, my friends here can entertain your guests as well tonight if it soothes the weight of our presence.
The dwarf looks at the two. By the way, this dwarf has like sleek white hair neatly braided into a beard, and that braid goes up their hair until it ties back in a nice ponytail. Several bangles hang down from their wrists, and they have an earring just on the right side. Nice purple earring that hangs down below. Very well lit eyes in this candlelight. I guess Valerie and Azarine roll like just a general charisma to exude some charisma.
She
Also-
smiles and waves.
Also, don't you like guys at bards have like some kind of special background trait that's like something
Yes.
something well like
I
can
know-
be treated well or whatever?
I know I do as a performer
Can you
background.
if you can pop that background up for me, there might be some kind of bonus that comes along with this. But I mean, he nods his head and he goes, "Ooh,
You have fine entertainers in your
folk
midst.
hero.
Folk heroes? Well, for for whose folk?
That's a good
Feature, nope.
question.
Well, I suppose if you all be willing to do a little bit of song and dance, we can try to mark some things down. How about free food?
Oh, found it.
Out of character. Normally, like, well, I guess with nicer ints, usually the food comes with, unless if you like get extra. At least like breakfast and dinner.
I'm
Breakfast and dinner.
I'm not
Yeah,
quite sure what
absolutely.
Azarine's ability is gonna say. That's another reason why I'm waiting on.
Right here, I popped it in chat. Feature by popular demand. You can always find a place to perform, usually in an inn or a tavern, but possibly circus. Blah blah blah. At such a place, you receive free lodging and food of modest or comfortable standard, depending on the quality of the establishment, as long as you perform each night.
I guess if
Honestly,
2 of
comfortable.
them can pull that, we only pay for like the rest of the party. I guess. Does she
Yeah.
get lodging just for herself? That makes sense.
Yeah. If you want, I could explain the math in the background, but ultimately it means you guys are gonna pay for 2 of these higher end suites rather than 4.
Yeah.
And
Depending on how well we play.
depending
Unless
on how well you do,
Gareth
of
wants
course.
to sleep in the barn.
That's between Gareth and Gareth.
Well.
That would be nice.
All right then, I suppose that we can make up some free lodgings a little bit, but we don't have an infinite supply of the fine suites. That's going to be 8 gold per night for 2 suites. The tool will be free if you can perform well for us.
I'm definitely better at using my guitar than charming.
I dance.
I guess. Well,
I
Well,
will.
Unless anyone-
as the party, do we just want to split it 2 gold each, or?
Well, I was gonna say unless anyone doesn't want to go like all full fancy, because Brookill's gonna get a fancy room. But...
Oh, Garrett, I mean, Garrett doesn't know Dwarvish, so I don't know what y'all have been talking about, but Garrett
Right.
would be fine with just like a normal room. If the bed can wait, if the bed might need to fit him.
No, you got me there, man. You might want to go with the wealthy suite just to make sure that it fits everything.
Oh,
Just
That's
to make
right.
sure there's enough room.
Yeah. Also, you're already getting the 2 for free. What it comes down to is
Yeah.
that background. It says in there modest or comfortable. Those are tags that the DM knows of. There's different living expenses depending on the day. And modest and comfortable pays for about 1 to 2 GP per day. And you guys are looking for wealthy, which is around 4 GP, 5 GP. So the idea is that Azreen and Valerie are gonna make up enough costs to offset living comfortably for 2 days, which is about 4 or 5. So now you only have to pay the remaining 4 or 5 for the other 2 beds. If you guys wanted to live wealthy, but also this dwarf speaks other languages besides Dwarfish. Brookhill just engaged him with that. But Gareth, if Gareth is I'll just take a fine bed and a hearty thing of ale, then he'll offer oh, okay, well then here, have this fine normal bed.
If Brookhill turns back and she gestures apart and she says, unless you folks want to sleep in normal rooms.
You make it sound like that's a bad thing.
It is.
The standard bed is going to be 2 gold per night, so it'd come down to 6 if one of you wanted to transfer.
And he points at Brookhill or Gareth.
The other 2 are already going to be taken care of as long as they're okay with a normal bed.
Will the normal bed fit me?
He looks you up and down.
Probably. if you kitty corner it. We dwarves call them a double, but maybe for you it's just going to be a single patty with cheese.
I think I'll play it safe then.
All right. It's going to be 8 gold from the 2 of you. I am going to ask you to pay up front, I'm afraid. We got a lot of people who dine in ditch.
Understandable.
No worries. good sir.
Out of character, do we want to share the wealth or 2 bards?
It would be 2, 2, 2, 2. It'd be 2 from everybody if you guys split the cost.
I spent 4.
Okay, so now it's just up to you guys to do 6.
I
Wait,
wouldn't
no.
mind.
Remaining
I wouldn't do
4.
the math quite yet in case we fail.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
that is also a possibility.
Right. Okay.
Tell you what, put me the 8 up front. If you do good, I'll reimburse you the 4.
So before they start playing, Valerie walks
Want
up to
some gold,
Ashley.
Gareth?
Oh yeah, no, he does it.
Technically, that'd be 16 from everybody, so 4, 4, 4, 4. So just everyone mark down 4, and I'll give you the 8 back if those 2 do a fine job.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right. Sounds good to me. Let me get you your keys.
That was a lot of math.
Turns around. It happens. There's 4 of you guys, and we gotta split things equal ways. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes into making numbers suspiciously dividable by 4 and 2s in this campaign. But yeah, he turns around, he gets you these large brass keys, and he hands them off to the 4 of you individually. They are relatively fine. They have a little star on the base of them, kind of signifying that they belong on the top floor. And you guys probably go upstairs. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, but you go upstairs.
Yeah.
You check out your rooms.
Gareth would want to kind of unload the back.
Yeah, the idea of living the high life in this town, unfortunately, is still relatively basic. It's the one large bed, a window that looks out on the city. You're on the 4th floor of a rather tall building, so it's a relatively good view. You see the water out to the far, far distance and the bridges spanning across. There is a wash basin to the right. It is just a large wooden bucket that is treated with wax to be waterproof. And there is it's shared water. At the end of the hall is a pump that is exclusively for the people who are paying the wealthy fees. You can go pump your own water, bring it back, and then you can place the water back over the stove to heat up. It's the equivalent of a bath in the medieval times, and it is enough to squat in, maybe do a faint sponge bath, if you will. You can bathe quite comfortably, is what I'm trying to say.
Nice.
There's also some cupboards and stuff.
Gareth
to leave
can't.
things. Gareth can stand and wet his body, but that's what he does anyway, so
That's
nothing's
what
really
I do
different.
anyway, so comfortable.
For
I
Azarine, she
can't.
might. Well, yeah. Azarine, if you were to technically, in theory, the
Azarine
dwarf is
can
like,
just, like,
oh,
take
perfect
a-
size,
Yeah.
and then like you jump in and it's like 14 extra feet of tail sticking across the room.
Azreen just kind of looks at it and she's like, "Ah."
Oh, you can just take a walk and dip into the ocean.
That's
You're right, she might not come back.
well, I was gonna say that's not quite the same as bathing, but
Do they use salt in soup?
It's actually very different experiences between bathing in a bathtub and in the ocean. In the ocean, you don't really feel clean because of like the algae and the small plankton, and sometimes barnacles get under the scales, and it's really kind of
Gareth is
nasty.
already like in his room unpacking.
Gareth shut the door.
That sounds Drukel makes a slightly disgusted face. Like the idea of having like barnacles under your skin, that's just like, ugh.
But I'm never in the water for more than a few days at a time. I spend most of my time out of the water, though.
Merfolk are more
Well-
amphibious, really.
Barnacles? Ugh.
Not sure what a barnacle is, but I don't want it under my skin.
It's the equivalent of, you know, those little spiky things that are in the bush, and sometimes they get caught in your clothes, and it kind of scratches at you and it itches.
Ouch.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of that.
Drukel heads to her room and I don't know. What
you
time
ollie
is
out
it?
of the conversation. 4 o'clock.
Are we the only one entertaining this?
I mean, she's just gonna like put down her stuff and shit, just like, you know.
Valerie, you don't think he's mad at me, do you?
Gareth, what even happened?
I don't know. I went down to get him some water and some dinner for the night, and then I got a strange, like, feeling that something was upsetting him, and when I asked him, he said he was fine. I mean, he sounded fine, but he wasn't, and so I guess I was like, I wonder what's going on. And then he got a headache, and he said, "Don't use magic on me," and then I ran away.
One, if anything, you did that out of concern, and he knows you're not a bad person. And two, he doesn't look more disgruntled than he usually does.
I mean, I've been trying to keep my distance because I don't want it to happen again, because God knows it's probably going to happen again if I'm not thinking about it. But,
You got a problem there, lass?
Well,
Killed
unless
pops her head
I
back
up.
die,
Oh, sorry,
I'll
am I
go stay
intruding?
the peacekeeper.
Am I intruding on something? Sorry.
no, sorry, just I thought you went into your room, and it's fine. I'm concerned about the other night. I've been trying to keep my distance, but he seems grumpy.
Drukel squints her eyes. She has seen the aftermath of Azarine getting into trouble. You didn't get that drunk, did you?
What? No. It was before that. It was when I went to go get Gareth dinner.
He's always grumpy.
Yeah,
What
but
worse could it be?
I mean, he said something about me using magic on him, and I don't think I did.
You don't. What? How can
I
you
don't
not know?
Well,
He was probably drunk. Don't worry about it. She gives Azarine a hearty pat on the arm.
I think I'm gonna talk to him about it. It's gonna irritate me until I talk to him about it.
Good luck.
Now, issues are best resolved.
Brughild goes downstairs for some soup or something. I don't know,
Soup?
whatever.
Some soup.
Some hearty dwarven soup, which is just some pebbles and ale.
No, it's real food. It's like there's some sourdough bread and like some chicken stock that's being used to create some kind of hearty, thick soup. There's a few other people in here. It's not a raucous. This is not a tavern well known for like partying. This place is an inn. This is some food. Most of the people here are just like mundane merchants and people looking to
Good.
get a quick bite.
The
before they
party's a
continue.
few streets down with the sailors.
Yeah, the party back in that. If you wanted one down by there, you could spend a little extra time searching and find the real rough boys. But here is mostly just like I am trying to just. There's a stable out back. Like I'm here to bed for the night and then continue like on my journey. Like I'm not here to make friends or have fun. I'm here to just get my shit done and go. So yeah, you eat your food. That is included with the wealthy package, if you will. Anything beyond that though is gonna be just between you and yourself.
So once Gareth finished kind of unpacking, and he comes back out, and like he's just like still in his like casual clothes. He doesn't have like the great sword on it, like, but he does have one of the short swords kind of just at his hip, because protection,
Yeah, that's fine. There's in Umbridge Run. Well, I'm gonna interrupt for a second because there are actually certain parts of this world where there is like, hey, you can't wear weapons. But this is not one of them. I just wanted to bring that up now because a convenient time.
Right. I mean, like Gareth knows that he could walk around with the fucking greatsword, but I mean that's kind of,
You look like a tool.
I mean that, and like especially since I'm not actually in armor, and
It's the equivalent of wearing sunglasses indoors.
Yeah,
like, at a club.
It's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, like,
Azreen is pacing outside your door like.
Azreen, you need something.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Are you busy?
No, I was going down to get some food, but what do you need?
And she's like across the hall, like up against the wall where Gareth is like in the doorway. I wanted to talk to you about the other night.
Gareth's eyes kind of squints. The other night?
Well, while I was getting you dinner and water in the cargo hold.
Gray.
Being prompted to attempt to remember, I'm gonna have you roll another wisdom check again.
Okay, because I mean, like, yeah, like I got a 9 last time, so like I'll just.
It's one of those things where it's like it's not like a.
Nope.
Wow.
He has no idea what the fuck you're on about.
You think you remember talking to Azreen? You know what? Gareth has the strange sensation of having shared a little bit about his fear of water with Azreen for some strange reason. You don't remember having the conversation, but you remember like this sort of like, oh, did I tell her a little bit about like the event? Surely I didn't, but you feel like you did at the same time. It's very odd.
That's like he kind of just kind of kind of realizes it, and he's like, yeah, my apologies for that. I didn't mean to dabble on about that. That was the alcohol I must have had too much during that evening. Please think nothing of it.
Wait, why are you apologizing? I was the one who did it.
Huh?
I made you afraid of water. It was me.
I can assure you, Azreen,
I mean, I was really concerned because, like, I got an inkling that you were under distress, and I asked you if you were okay, and you said you were fine, but you clearly were not fine, and I guess I pushed a little too hard. You got a headache. And you said, don't use magic on me, but I didn't think I was using magic on you, did I?
Right.
This is this is wildly beyond comprehension, more than I ever could have asked for. I guess roll another wisdom check, dude. She's pushing, trying to make you remember. But I don't think after 3 times. Well, it is starting hazily come back to you. You remember a faint clicking sound, kind of like a dolphin like chirping at you as well. It's starting to come back like in bits and pieces. You don't really remember a headache, but like a lot of headaches were had over that.
Yeah, a lot of headaches were had, and I guess you were probably fine. I was just most likely rambling. No, I've been in the Inquisition since I was 16. I guess I was just muttering probably some rules and things. I'm sure I meant nothing by it.
I don't think it was you that was the problem. I had an instance like this happen at one time before. I last thing I knew, I was humming while preparing your dinner. I gave it to you, and then I got you. You felt like super anxious and under distress, and you were really worried about it. And you said that you were fine, but things got a little hazy.
Gray, I'm gonna stab you.
What? What?
I saw that,
But
you son of a bitch.
God.
Anyway.
What I need to say is, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I wasn't aware that I was doing it. If I was doing anything at all, it's just these things kind of happen. The last time it happened, something went wrong during one of my performances, and then I had to run from the city.
I think Gareth at this point is putting two and two together. Even multiple drinks of alcohol are not strong enough to suppress the accusations.
But it's like not only like is it like he's kind of putting two, like he's basically putting two together. He's just like, oh god, she's oversharing.
He's also like, they're there.
He's like, one moment, and he actually opens his room door and
he doesn't know how to deal with his own
back
emotions,
in real quick.
Especially not with other people's emotions.
leaving Azreen out in the hallway alone for like a good 30 seconds.
Azreen like visibly deflates, and she's like, he is mad. Very mad.
And he comes back out. And he kind of has something in his hand, and he kind of just like his fucking hand covers it completely, but he just kind of holds his hand out like in a closed fist, like waiting you to put your hand out.
Do you put your hand out as well, Azur?
Yes.
And he puts in your palm a very small, like it's kind of unfinished, but a little wooden duck. It basically looks like a rubber duck, except it's wood.
I'm going to cry.
Azreen, you are blessed with this tiny wood duck. What do you do with this duck?
I don't understand.
It's you. I have too many, and you seem stressed. I could never really get some. Like he's trying to find the words because he also doesn't know why he did this. Like he doesn't really have much of a reason. He's like, And
with that, Gareth nods and starts walking and goes downstairs.
Yep.
Thank you.
Azreen, having said her piece and both giving and receiving an apology and a thank you, is standing alone in a hallway with a small wooden duck in her hands. What do you do, Azreen?
I walk downstairs, still holding the duck, and sit next to my friends, just staring at the duck.
Roll a performance check, please, to begin the strumming process.
Hang on, I'm actually gonna roll sleight of hand first. Okay. Her high E. She's not gonna play without a high E.
You insist. Everyone, you kind of glance over, realizing now that it is time when you hear...
What the fuck?
From Valerie.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, Valerie, it's your opportunity to this is just the testing ground. Oops, so sorry. Do you want to take the 14, or do you want to try again for even greater success?
I will
Or
try
failing.
again for even greater success. She's strung to sound pretty. There she goes again. Oh boy.
Oof, sometimes we take the rolls and we go for it. Yeah, you kind of like begin to play a faint little diddle on your guitar while the rest of the patrons gotta go about their daily business. The dwarf who was behind the counter and didn't really have such amazingly high expectations, seems kind of pleased. It doesn't look like he's not gonna rescind his offer. He nods his head and just goes, "All right, keep it up, you're doing good." No free drinks though.
Valerie looks slightly disappointed in herself. She snapped her high E. She cut her thumb with it, and now she's playing kind of pathetically.
Blood is dripping onto the ground as Valerie's
Aww.
Great. What time is it?
4:30.
4:30. Okay, so it's like a early dinner, late lunch kind of.
It's the early bird special.
Yeah.
So, you guys are free to do
Wow.
as you please. Yeah, it's I don't know if anybody had any kind of desire to go out on the town, or if it was just like, now we're long resting.
Well,
we're going to bed.
I'm waiting. I mean, like, we can't really have like a team discussion if Valerie's still playing music.
I
Oh,
desired soup.
Oh, you got your
My
soup, man.
desire has been sated.
It's been sated. Yeah, you're good.
I got juice.
Azreen, you said you were gonna dance along with those, so you're gonna throw your performance in
Yes.
there as well.
Yeah, I'm back in my at my dancer's attire that you guys first met.
Ah, yes, the flowing robes.
Her in.
Quote unquote attire.
Yes.
The cloth that hangs from various appendages on her body. And
19.
it's strategic. Do you have like a tambourine or some other thing that you dance with? Just asking. It's not that big of a deal.
She dances with her blades.
Okay, well,
That does not seems OSHA compliant.
don't worry, OSHA's not here. OSHA hasn't been invented yet, thankfully.
The OSHA violations.
It's kind of like watching like a fire dancer. Except
Yeah.
blades. So you're spinning, you're dancing, you're twirling. People have kind of like moved back away, and like a few tables have been pushed aside. There's no stage, but they do kind of clear the middle for you and Valerie to do a little song and dance. And you guys go for probably, unless you guys have some other plans, the next like 4 hours or so. From 4 to 8 is just a general kind of evening of dance and revelry. It's not like a Friday night or a Saturday night. It's not like a place that's known for its raucous parties. But a few people do come in off the street who normally wouldn't come in, and I would call it a full house by the expectations of the dwarven owner, who nods his head, and any downside that might have come from having a 9 performance is offset by the 19 from Azarine. So you kind of meet each other in the middle, and do a resounding performance, really. You guys, from just general collection, that's not bad. You guys make like an extra 12 gold. Just to split
Ooh.
amongst your 2 selves. Just from people
6
donating.
each.
6 each.
6 each, yeah. It's funny how it works, doesn't it?
I was thinking I wanted to go like, I wanted Blue Hill to like go walk around, but
That's fine.
everybody's busy. And it's
Oh, I
rude
see.
if she leaves while
Gareth is
people are
here just
performing.
eating soup.
She's not gonna ask Gareth to go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's up to you. If you wanted to go earlier, you'd have to leave Azarine and Valerie behind, but they are finished by 8.
By 8. Ooh.
I don't know if that's too late for you guys.
Although
or not.
she might like go cheers, just like drink a beer together or something like that. Just nothing like.
Sure.
There's nothing better to do, except eat.
Gareth.
Yeah, it's up to you guys if he sees the night. And also, if Azarine and Valerie, if you guys are like, we want to call it quits and be done at 6 or whatever, then that's fine. At least perform for 2 hours, and the dwarf will be fine.
I see no reason to not perform until 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you guys like as a party were like out of character. I'd love it if we all did a night out on the town. That's kind of for you guys to figure out of character.
Well, Gareth has.
You guys might not want to. That's fine as well. You guys might want to spend the night here, rest up, kind of learn everything in the morning, and then take another night or whatever, and do whatever you guys want to do.
Gareth, I think Gareth might, if the party's fine with it, he might just go do some little exploring, stretch his legs. He kind of was cooped up for how many days?
Oh, dude, for a fortnight at least, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, somewhere around there in between.
He could go for a walk. He could use a walk. And that's what he's. If anyone wants to come with, that's cool. But yeah, he's gonna be doing that. Like he's gonna enjoy the performance for a bit, enjoy some soup.
Yes.
Yeah, take an hour and a half for dinner, have an ale,
Uh-huh.
watch them, and then around 6 o'clock, there's like people. The sun's still going down. Daylight savings time hasn't been invented yet. Curse it, God, curse it straight to goddamn hell. And so yeah, Gareth gets up, and the dwarf takes the plate. The barmaid picks up his ale, and he walks out. It's the saloon style doors that just kind of swing open for him. Up to the other three if anybody follows them or they have some other plans of their own they wanted to do. It's okay if you guys want to split up or you're just like, nah, my character goes to bed. I'm cool with it. Just, I might have to follow some other people who go do some night adventuring while your character's asleep. And as long as you're okay with that, that's...
he gives like a little wave to the rest of the party as he kind of heads out.
I'll probably just spend the evening at the bar with my juice.
That is totally fine. If you wanted to spend another 2 hours performing, I will
Were
roll
we
again
still
for gold.
performing together?
At 6, tell you what, if you guys perform for 2 hours, your debt to the dwarf is paid. If you wanted to stay and perform for longer, that's your own initiative. That's up to you guys. And I'll roll for patrons to put some gold in your hat and stuff like that. It's up to you if you want
We'll
to stop
stick
now.
around. Well, I'll stick
Gold.
Yeah, it's not gonna be more than I will roll a d12. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna be small change, but I didn't want you thinking that it was gonna be like big bucks or anything like that. Or you can go out with Gareth and see what there is to see.
kind of want to redeem myself musically, Loki.
Understandable.
You're valid. You're valid.
Valid.
Brooklyn
Very
kind of
valid.
wants to go out on a walk, so she sort of follows Gareth, but then she makes sure she goes the complete other direction that he's going.
Sure.
He doesn't notice.
That's fine. Why don't the people who are out and about, why don't they roll a survival check just to kind of find their way around the city?
Survival.
Yeah, you're pathfinding. It's urban
Survival.
general. Wow, 13.
Hey.
Sounds good. Yeah, Brukhild, you go up and down the streets. Do you have anything in mind that you're looking for, or are you just taking it in?
No, maybe more like just nice places. Maybe like I don't know.
Sure.
If there's like
You head south side.
performances, I don't know, just stuff.
Well, I mean, there's the
I
Umbridge
guess she's
Opera House.
just taking it in. Ah.
Yeah, out on the water, there's an opera house.
Interesting.
You see a large clock tower off in the far distance that is well lit, and it strikes. It strikes on the 15, so it strikes 6:15, and then it strikes 6:30 as you get closer. And you find yourself going uphill a little bit, just a bit. They're still mostly sea level at this point. But you see some jewelers who are kind of still open, some other taverns that are free to the public as well. And there's also larger buildings like the opera house on the far distance.
Jewelers, yes.
Oh yeah, they have a jewelers.
I would like to stop by a jeweler and sell the red stone and small ruby that I have acquired throughout my travels.
Very well then. You step
I
inside.
also have a gold tooth of a goblin.
That's pretty horrifying. There's
Not sure. Yeah, not sure if a jeweler is gonna want that.
there's an older dwarven lady behind the kiosk at the back of the store. There's a little faint silver bell that rings as you step in through the door. And she welcomes you with a hearty, classic dwarven hello, which is the kiss over each shoulder, on each cheek. Mwah, mwah.
That's very French.
Quite Imperials rub off on them a little bit.
Imperials rub off. Brunhild greets her like very enthusiastically, and she asks
My darling, it is fine to see another person of character in the streets.
Oh, isn't it? Ugh. If you knew, I have been traveling with such peculiar folk.
If indeed it is the way of our people, unfortunately, nowadays. What can I do you for, darling?
I've picked up a few trinkets on my travels that I would, I believe you would have more use for than I. So she fiddles with her bag and stuff, and
You lay these three
I have it
items.
listed as one red stone, one gold tooth, and one small ruby.
Okay, she's going to examine each in turn. She takes out a small spying glass and lifts up the small parcel and raises in her fingers back and forth in the candlelight. It's a little bit dark at this point. She's going to roll investigation on them to kind of just get an appraisal, essentially. That's the good stuff. And then she's gonna make you an offer. Well, yeah, the two jewels here, I can do 45 gold pieces for the each.
That sounds marvelous.
The gold, well, it's simply going to be its weight.
Of course, I understand. I'm so sorry. It is quite gruesome.
Oh no, I've seen far worse specimens than this in my time. I believe that this simple, humble tooth would be worth about, solid? She kind of tries to press it down with a hammer. I suppose so. 15 gold pieces.
You make me the happiest dwarf on this port.
She smiles. Oh, no, please, anytime, darling. What'd you say your name was again?
Brughild. Brughild of Elrain.
Oh, my, a fancy name indeed. You know what? She's cool. I haven't heard the House Elwain name in quite some time. Your ships once frequented this port.
I suppose since Winthrow fell, to be fair, I'm not sure what happened to my folk. Dullahan, Winthrow.
You threw Winthrow's the whole continent.
Nope, all of it.
All of it's gone, didn't you know?
Indeed, ever since the continent was white from the face of the... No, I understood what you meant. She nods, still on. Well, I hope they are doing quite fine indeed. I would be loath to hear that one of our finest houses were to succumb at such a tragedy.
Please, I'm certain they're doing perfectly fine. I don't have the most reliable of sources, but it's better than nothing, right?
Indeed.
I'll make sure they pay you a visit once they're back.
That'd be quite titillating indeed. Merriwain is my name. Please, if you ever have the chance, the opportunity, I would love to forward my business with your particular lineage.
Of course, yeah, I will take notes. Don't worry about it.
Did you mark down your gold that you received?
No, what did you, 45 for the...
I believe that this is the number that I've chatted it in the Roll20.
Oh, I thought you said 45 for both of the...
No, 45 each.
No. Big bucks there, big bucks. Those
That is more money than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, Brookill can roll investigation if she wants to attempt to appraise these gems herself and see if she's, like, giving you a fair deal, but that's up to you.
I'll roll it because Brookill is an asshole and she would do
Sure. That's fine.
Investigation, you said?
Yeah, investigation. And, I think you're good with rocks because you're a dwarf anyway, so I think you'd have advantage usually, so I'll take the 14. She, in theory, they'll probably be sold for 50, so it's like that idea. She's taken, it's that 5 gold is the profit margin, so she's giving you a good price.
Obviously she needs to make a profit.
Yeah, it's not just I take for 50, I give for 50. Like, she has to actually make something in the transaction. So she's, it's a good jewel. It's a good jewel piece. There are 50 gold pieces each in theory on the market. And then the gold tooth is probably actually worth exactly 15 gold pieces. That's something she's eyeballing, but you probably have a better...
Gold,
Yeah, and then the coins that would be like mixed. Like the coins are an alloy, like at least in Queen's Landing. So it's like it's multiple coins for.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. That's just how.
Yeah, you pop it. It's so you might actually even have a better idea of like what
What's
that
your name
thing
again?
is
Sorry, I'm just gonna note that down somewhere.
Sure. Merriwain. Here, I'll write it.
Merriwain. She sounds adorable, and I love her. And I'm deciding when Brookhill's speaking in Dwarvish, I'm just gonna do like a normal fancy voice.
Just a normal elegantry.
Speaking common, she has like this huge accent.
It makes perfect. That's the result, right? Like you sound like quite wonderful in Dwarvish, your native tongue, and then when you attempt to do common, it's like that is where the accent would reveal itself.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You both got 13, so I mean you guys are finding a way around pretty evenly. Anything else with this woman Brookill? Did you take care of everything you need to take care of in the jewelry shop? Other than that, there's just regular jewels, necklaces. She's selling a few charms. They're small, intricate, detailed, just like things that you attach to weapons or armor to make them more powerful. They're detailed in the shop. Link. So I won't go too much into them unless you had a question.
Yeah, I don't have enough money. I don't have buying you shit money. I bought that cloak and
Fair and reasonable. Sure. Oh yeah, the cloak. That actually is quite a nice cloak too. So it makes you look pretty upstart. What else did you want to do? I suppose you depart. You wave the lady goodbye and.
I was gonna head to that opera house.
All right, I'll come back to you then. Gareth, you are got U13 as well. You walk more north. You're going the opposite direction of Brookill, if only by accident. You find a lot more people who are like doing their daily work around. You're going more towards the bridges.
So you actually see like the people getting off in the distance. You see the equivalent of like a medieval highway. Like it's a 4-lane road, and there's like carriages along the way, and there's a few people who are very clearly in like larger wagons, and for the most part, horse is the available section. You look at various billboards, and you see ads for like plays and ads for like nice things. You see ads for someone who's looking apparently to make a railway through here. At least so they want to. Gareth would have the understanding background of like, nah, buddy. A railway in Winthrop, that ain't happening anytime soon. So whoever this fucker is, they've got some big dreams.
Yeah. But nothing else that catches my eye, like.
Well, roll investigation for me, because
Sure.
now's a new moment. I'm not going to use the 15 from earlier. Haha, I remembered.
I wish you did.
Well, that's fair. Reasonable. It's a new location anyway, so you would have had to break out the new stuff regardless. Looking around, you're like, okay, help wanted posters, and you do like see just a general postage board that's like, there are a few people who are looking for jobs, and a few of them seem up your alley. It's like looking for big strapping lads to defend a carriage going to Kirith. Going to Port Verde. Looking for mercenaries to help defend my family's honor on the far side of like Brannigan's Rest. Like a few people who are like trying to assemble small mercenary armies, or like people looking for strong arm. That kind of thing might be what you're looking for jobs. You don't see you don't see wanted posters of yourself or anyone else for that matter. It just doesn't seem like that kind of board. If you wanted that sort of thing, you would probably want to head back towards the Riverboat Corps and potentially even
my question is, Ray.
Yes.
Have I been here before, like this, on business?
Roll a history check for me. My interpretation is that Gareth has been kind of just following Otto where the wind takes him, and he hasn't gone out of his way to explore. You've been
I mean,
here
like
a few
maybe
times.
Otto has sent me to because I mean, this is like the other big.
You have never
like,
been
this
to.
side.
You've never been to Umbridge Run. You have been to Queen's Landing. You've never been to you've been to like the Manhattan of Queen's Landing, like the actual like Queen's Landing, like the island that defines itself very. If you guys actually look on the map, that big island in the dead center of the Delta
is Queen's Landing.
That's like the Queen's Landing, and then the little marker off to the side is like the area that would be like the business, and you guys are on the north side. And then there's those smaller islands that have the bridges connecting them together, and so you had to like take a boat over there. You've been there before, and that place is
I had to take a boat over there? I thought you said there were bridges there.
Well, I mean, when you first got here, you had to come across the sea from Garcia Tepel, is what I'm referring. This was your first stop.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then from here, then you took a larger galley around the outside, past Cape Solomon, did not stop through Cape Solomon, all the way to Fort Delahan. And that is where you spent most of your time. Yeah, you've been here before, mostly Queen's Landing. You know the local areas. The bridges are familiar to you. You know that Queen's Landing proper is like what there can be of skyscrapers. Like there's large parliament buildings and fortresses that are like easily like at least 10 stories high and stuff like that, maybe even higher than that with some of the technology that like the Umbram Empire has brought. Like there's a Coliseum like in Queen's Landing. It's not used for like gladiatorial fights, but like there's big buildings, and you can see signs of that here. But you kind of know your way around. You know the people. You're kind of like, all right, I'm in Umbridge Run. It's a little bit shady here. I got to hold on to my stuff, but you know, I can. But yeah, does that answer what you were hoping for? Or are you looking for something based on that information?
So the Inquisition, like they're going to be on Queen Landing proper.
Yeah, they'll be on. It's called the Queen's Island, is what it is.
Queen's Island.
That is where the primary Inquisition.
Do any?
There are smaller departments throughout, though. Everywhere has like a small.
So like as I've been walking around, have I been seen Inquisitor?
No,
enlisted?
not in Umbridge Run. There's
surely
there's someone around somewhere. Maybe at the Riverboat Corps they have a guy, but like Umbridge Run is like it's just not worth it. It's not close enough. Maybe on the bridge, there's probably actually on the bridge you have to pay tax to go through. It's kind of like the
right.
Yeah.
Is there a curfew for the bridge as well, or is it?
Nope, always going 24/7.
Okay.
Bridge is always this bridge at least. That's very rare. The idea of like the public bridge being always open night or day, but it's Queen's Landing, and it's like there's people always going. So yeah, there's probably someone. If you wanted to go up the bridge and like walk down the side a bit, there is probably a toll box that is like a stone encampment, and inside would be like half a dozen people that work there, and they're just there to collect taxes from people who want to use the bridge. It's usually like a couple of silver, just like a silver.
to go through to use the bridge, and it's just like the tax for doing business from island to island, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go and find an Inquisition office, you could find one, and that's the closest one probably. That's up to you.
I'm going to kill Gareth Durand.
Because he keeps seeking out Inquisition.
No.
I really should have
I was
followed him.
asking,
There's still time to kill.
I cannot leave him alone. It makes no sense.
As I've been walking around, did I see any shops that caught my eye?
Yeah, I'll just use your passive perception, which is pretty good. Yeah, there's been a few. There's been some blacksmiths who are like, I deal in weapons and armor. And there's been a few places that are like the charm salesmen, like I said before. Like those are pretty common around here, as well as a few people that are selling carts, like a wheelwright, like someone who sells wagons, carriages, carts, and then a stables next door that will sell like horses, like riding horses and draft horses, not like war horses, and also like bits and bridle and stuff like that. And it's through them that you would purchase a riding animal or a mount, but also potentially rent one. At least they would know maybe who to send you to if you want to rent, or if you're looking for transportation. It really just comes down.
Transportation just yet. I wanted to have a discussion with the rest of the party.
Sure, Gareth notes that down for later then.
Yeah, he does. He makes himself know where this is. I will check out. God, where's my fucking notebook? I'm gonna check out some of the charms / potions.
Sure, you pop over to the nearest dealership.
Wait, Salty, did you buy your level up yet? Are you still level 3?
No, I'm still level 3.
And you're gonna go buy more shit?
What?
He wants to peek. Gareth is going for the Diablo thing, where it's like he's just gonna let the gear carry him. Like it's not. He's just gonna go for it. But no, yeah, he just peeks. There's two. Those things are for your convenience put in the same PDF on the Discord, but in real life, it is a smitheries shop who deals in alchemical charms. Like that's the whole dude's business. And then across the way is like a general store that is receiving shipments from official Greshia and Tepel channels for healing potions that are at a discount in Queen's Landing because it's easy to get them here.
Tasty.
And so if you wanted to buy some, they are 5 gold cheaper.
I'm gonna go into the general supply.
Sure, and there's
first.
also there's a few potions for sale as well. It's a chemist's shop. It is Asmodeus's chemistry shop, and it has like a little devil insignia on the top of it. It's clearly just for show. It's just like a
I'm like, hey, official channels, huh?
Yeah, it's clearly just like, my deals are the work of the devil. Like it's just an ad campaign essentially. So it's
okay.
Just a standard elven fellow is sitting behind.
Cool. I'm gonna message you something, Gray.
Sure. While you do that, do you mind if I pop back over to our performers just to keep I guess it depends on what you're about to message me. It might be urgent, more urgent, or
is the place where I'm going still
yes,
that as
you
well?
are correct.
Okay. So Garrett's gonna be looking around. He's gonna greet the person and kind of just look at some of these things. I believe I might need some of these, and he plans to buy 2 healing potions.
Okay, of the standard variety or the more advanced?
Right, not the quickened.
Sure, because just so the rest of the party is aware, there's also now available for you to purchase in Queen's Landing quickened healing potions, which only require a bonus action to you, but they are more expensive, correspondingly.
They are double the price.
Yes,
and
they're also
style potions.
They are the Diablo style potions. You just press Q in the middle of a fight. And do it there. You're healed up by the standard healing potion, but they are double the price and in limited quantity. In fact, when you like ask, like you're like, oh, the quicken potions, the guy's like, are you a cop? Like it's straight up like.
Well, I mean,
what are you? Sounds like something a Fed would say.
Garrett doesn't answer.
He doesn't answer. That's very good. But no, he has some in crates, but they're very expensive and they are in limited quantities. And just buy the first one you buy is double, and then the price increases. Like if you want 2 or 3 or more, it's like like, listen, man, there's only so much. I got to keep a profit going.
He's like, are your copies like? I'll just take the normal potions if you don't mind too.
the elf nods. Yeah, okay, sure, fine. Yeah, excellent. And he hands over these two wax sealed bottles, very very shoddy glass, not meant to be reused. He
hands him the 90 gold.
Sure.
And like he kind of looks around. He doesn't really see anything.
He puts in a safe.
Too interesting, but
there's a few potions, a few like alchemical supplies, like herbs and spices and things that are kind of just like out in open boxes. And the idea is that you scoop your own and put it in a bag, and then you pay and weight.
Right.
Scales right at the front.
he's not really good at the make your own potion stuff. Like so, like he's kind of just glancing over the herbs and like like the mix, like the mortar pestles and all that shit. Like he's mainly just looking at like the pre-made bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And from his experience, he like kind of recognizes most of them. Is it safe to say that like he also has some of the hold on, let me see. Does he sell like those other potions that like
he would sell the potions from previous like he sells the same things from Kirith as well. He does not sell the same things that one kobold had at the trading post. Those were unique. Those are part of the random encounters of traveling out in the wilderness. Sometimes you come across merchants that have unique supplies, and they come and they go. But this is a standard shop with standard supplies. Yes, anything that you could acquire at the Kirith chemist shop, you can also acquire.
Gotcha. Excuse me. And this just kind of looking over, he's like, he will buy a bottle of antitoxin.
Oh, well, yes, indeed, sir. Sounds fine to me.
And before he goes, like he kind of looks at other things, and like nothing really else really catching his eye except there's one bottle that he saw that he didn't actually recognize. He recognized most of them just from the look and like the contents of the bottle, right?
Sure.
And he kind of picks up this bottle and he kind of just like shakes it a little bit.
Oh, don't do that, sir. I'm afraid. You see, haven't quite identified that yet. I'm afraid an adventurer came through the other day and dropped it off for a fancy price, and I've been waiting to identify it before I can put it out for sale. But if you want to grab it, I'll discount it for you if you just want to take it and go.
That's quite. I would hate to say it's almost suspicious that you just have something that you don't even know what it does.
Oh, they're a fine fellow I've worked with before, and they were doing some things out in the old Iron Hills, and I figured that they're a trustworthy bloke. He doesn't know what it does. I don't know what it does. It might be dangerous, and I'm going to warn you ahead of time because of that, but it's something that's been more of a pet project of mine. I have some notes about it. If you want to take it, you're welcome to do so, but I'm not going to be responsible for if you turn into a toad. Do you hear me?
What, how much are you selling it for now?
For Gareth is told the price, but the DM will share that the price that is marked on the page is the price that he'd be willing to sell it. That is the discounted price.
That is the discounted price. That doesn't sound very discounted to me.
Whatever it is, it's certainly something of high important. It's a very strong brew, whatever it is. Go ahead, take a whiff.
Yeah, Gareth's not just gonna fucking just. Would he take a whiff?
Would he?
I was about to say Gareth would just fucking smell something that he doesn't know what it is. Like, will he actually?
Would he though?
He totally would.
DM would ask you to roll Arcana to try and identify what it may or may not do.
I'll roll
DM
Arcana.
is fine with letting Arcana checks be like a faint taste to try to like figure it out. Gareth, do you have the PDF open for me?
Yes, I do.
Do you mind reading the description just to like refresh my own memory?
Oh, consumable rarity mystery, one of a kind potion for individual looking for a temporary escape from the hustle and bustle of the world.
Okay. Gareth,
yeah.
Gareth, you have the PDF open for me, right? Do you mind just reading it for me, just to refresh my memory a little bit?
Yep. Consumable rarity mystery, one of a kind potion for an individual looking for a temporary escape from the hustle and bustle of the world.
All right, cool. Gareth, do you mind just like reading that? Do you have the PDF over for you?
Yeah.
Do you mind reading the description?
Yeah. I can do that for you, son of a bitch.
Just to remind me what it does.
Yeah, just remind me what it does. I really. I mean, like I knew you were doing it for a bit, but it's like. The reason why I wanted to roll Arcana was because it was like I thought there was like something else with it.
Okay, with a 16 Arcana, this is actually something that Gareth would be able to identify, and also perhaps you, the player, might be able to identify. It's not something that affects you. It's something that affects other people around you. The imbiber is not the target of the brew.
That is fucked up.
Oh. I mean, I completely misunderstood that push.
Well, it's vague on purpose. I'm actually surprised that Gareth got a 16. I did not have that much faith in him.
I didn't have that much faith in me either.
So-
He understood it better than I did.
He did.
Fuck.
Not like being smarter than using achievement.
Well, listen. You don't need to be so cutthroat. Listen, you didn't need to go for his whole career like that.
Sorry, I love you, Salty.
No, but with a 16, and I guess kind of we can pull a little bit of wool away. I won't go into specifics, but there are some potions that you drink, and your body is the catalyst, and then like your not to be gross or anything, but like your glands become like the emitting source. Like you drink, and then you become the catalyst that triggers like a pheromone to be released, and that will have effect on other people.
Interesting.
And this is an example of that. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, though, because there is no more detail to have. Gareth wouldn't know more than neither does the potion seller. Potion seller.
Oh well.
It's like a Pavlovian response.
I can't believe you didn't do that like before.
Your strongest potions.
You can't handle my strongest potions. Yeah, it's up to you. It's very expensive. But
it is very expensive.
He implies that it's very powerful.
Yeah, I'll be real, Gray.
Out of character.
Like out of character. I was like, oh, that's like I don't need to buy alcohol now. This is gonna be great.
Oh, I see. You want to just like wipe away the sad times. I know the true
Gareth
irony.
fucking wakes up in like the cargo hold. He doesn't remember who he is.
I
He's
make
just
him
like,
roll a
"Where
new
am I?"
character, and he's just that person now. No, that's not what it does.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. There are spells that will alter memory, but those are like 8th level, like just from DM
I mean,
player.
like, no, he wasn't looking for a permanent thing. He was like, I was just saying, oh, I don't need to buy like 10 things of alcohol.
No, I understand.
Constitution.
Unfortunately for Gareth, alcohol is still going to be the easiest form of temporary relievement from the world from a personal standpoint. This is a potion for people who are really looking to relieve themselves from the world, like in a more definitive sense, at least temporarily.
Yeah. Not exactly.
Yeah, you can think about it. You'll be in Umbridge Run for a while.
But invisible or Kevin with a giant sword.
If that's what it does.
Yeah, it doesn't seem invisible.
Right, doesn't true. But like they don't. Garrett's gonna think about this. I might return. This is interesting indeed.
I understand. Maybe I'll have some more time to think on it. Might take me a few weeks to identify it properly, though. Anyway, in the meantime, you're getting 2 of these health potions and antitoxin, right?
Many thanks. And like he kind of just like takes it and just kind of pushes it in his satchel, and just kind of gives just a curt farewell and kind of just walks off.
Sure. How much did your purchase cost?
98 gold. I already took it off.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I wanted to make sure I kept track of that. The twins, Valerie and Azarine. It's another couple hours that go by. You guys are giving a more sturdy performance. Both of you roll another performance check.
All right. Performance.
There we go.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yay!
Valerie is like, all right, for real this time. You've replaced the E string.
So Valerie is she replaced the E string, and she was playing a little funny at first because she has a cut on her thumb and she can't play properly, but she adjusted by using the bony side of her thumb.
So that sounds horrible, but good job. Yeah, with an 18 and a 15, you've drawn quite the crowd at this point. And Valerie always has that hat out, so we'll roll another little diddle here for me, and we'll just make sure we get a little something here, just to make sure it goes right in your favor.
If only paper money existed.
Why so?
And then I would accept tips.
Oh, no.
Waste.
No.
Awful.
It took me way too long.
It took you way too long.
Took me way too long. They do.
Had
They
to
actually,
make the joke at some.
In Yggdrasil, they actually do use paper money.
Oh.
Just to throw out there.
We know where to go.
You guys get another 12 gold pieces to split between the two of you.
Hey.
Ooh.
Yeah, but a few more people come in as well, and I think that with an 18 and a 15, the dwarf is pretty impressed. And when you're done with your set, I'm afraid there's no choice. I have to say that it's now 8 o'clock for you guys. And I don't know if Brookild and Gareth are back by now, so they're just going to be Schrodingerly sitting in the background.
No, they're not back.
They're
He's
probably not back. Okay, so the dwarf approaches the two of you and just goes, "Well, that was quite a good show. Here, have a little something." And he hands you two platinum pieces for you to split. So one for each of you, one platinum piece each.
Ooh! Thank you very much.
Just stick it around.
Wow. Thank you.
We should be around for, are we staying an extra night?
She looks at Valerie.
Yeah, we'll be around an extra night.
All right. Well, in that case, enjoy that platinum piece. Make sure you do something nice for yourself. In the meantime, well, I guess we're done for the night. Unless... It's up to you guys if you want to go for...
Ezrean looks at Valerie.
It would take you to 10 o'clock at night, and you guys would then have to contest
Valerie
going to bed
looks at
late.
Azarine and she shrugs. Although she gives Azarine a firm pat on the back with a gesture for a fist bump. Well, we've done relatively well so far. Let's not screw it up now.
I fist bumper.
Oh ho ho!
Oh! Oh wow.
All right,
Yes,
fine.
and
Okay.
your playing is
Fine,
absolutely...
you dirty cheaters.
And your playing has been absolutely impeccable.
All right, fine. I'll break out 3 dices rather than 2 if that's what you wanted.
Oh boy.
Both of you roll another performance check. It is 10 o'clock.
Another performance plus the
Wait.
additional.
All right, yeah. It's easy to impress these people. You just have to beat 10.
It's a 1d6.
That's fucking 26 though.
I know what could have been, right?
22.
Oh, they're breaking the 20. All right, fine. We add another dice.
15 for me.
Thank you for dice ASMR.
It's the best part. The DM actually gets to use real dice. So I need to play it into the microphone for you guys. Get that fucking fix. Oh, that's not enticing. All right, you guys get 16 gold pieces to split between the two of you.
It's 8 each.
8 each. You know, it's better. It's better.
Yay!
Once again, it's a small place, and there's nothing that can really be done about the lack of crowd. That's kind of the best they're
Slowly
gonna
getting my riches back.
Yeah, you guys are. You guys have the fortunate luck of your jobs are actually just traveling from place to place, playing for people, making money, and that's exactly what adventurers do. So your occupation does not cease because you have become branded and
Nope.
playing in various places. This is actually pretty mundane stuff for you guys. Why don't we pop back to Brewguild? No. You two. We have. Is there anything else you two wanted to do? I know that's kind of like you guys are back at the inn, and there's not really much the DM has to supply you with besides money. But that was pretty good.
There's no mysterious handsome strangers. There's no there's no
there's plenty of
brawl at the
handsome
tavern
strangers.
next door.
Colonel Copperbell.
Colonel Copperbell launches out of the... No, let's see here. Why don't you guys roll a perception check for me? Because you've attracted quite the crowd, so we'll see if there's any people amongst
I'm
them.
afraid
There might be
of
skeevy
the...
people.
It's
people.
perception.
My bad. Second one.
Second one,
I
7.
rolled
All right.
performance by accident.
20!
There's a few fellows in the back that have definitely been brought out off on the street that seem a little bit more on the lower side of luck. And Valerie is more focused on playing. She has to actually watch what she's doing, and Azri is just kind of letting her body do its thing. So you get the opportunity to kind of scan the crowd. And there's a few people that up in the front are more of the merchant folk, the rich folk, who are stopping over for town. You see someone who's got a nice red velvet doublet, and they're the ones that have been kind of handing out the money, kind of a little bit hand over fist at this point. And they have a twirly mustache, and they're kind of aha, clap it, oh my goodness, indeed. And they border a little bit on the Copperbelly side. A little dangerous. They ride that line. But there's a few people more to the back that are a little bit they wear cloaks and hoods, and you can tell they're not really the same part of the riffraff that normally come in here, but they're not doing anything terrible. But it's just one of those things where it's just something to be wary of. Just keep your coins close.
Some schmucks among the crowd.
Schmucks, some schmuckery. It's not uncommon for entertainers to have their hat swiped, if you're in the middle of. That's why Valerie has a rapier. All bards have weapons, and it's because your shit might get just stolen while you're trying to perform. Someone just might run through and
Using
grab a
my
bunch of
2
coins.
blades during my performances generally deters anybody from attempting to snag my coins.
It is like a kobold walking into a cloud of daggers, yeah.
Valerie just summons Cloud of Daggers off to the side as she plays.
I dare you.
Do what you won't.
But yeah, no, there's.
Reach your hand in there. Reach your hand in the hat. See what happens.
Let's see here. No, I mean, this is one of those situations where, unfortunately, the player's choice, like, there's no artificial drama for me to create here. You guys are safe at home in the tavern, and I suppose you just continue performing, and unless you guys want to leave and go do something.
Performing, getting drinks of water in between sets, and
Yeah, you drink. Some people come over, like the fellow with the tour lead mustache is kind of like, my goodness, young lady, you seem to be quite fine with those two indeed blades. You are quite the fantastic sight to be seeing here in Umbridge.
oh, thank you. I've worked really hard.
Do you and your friend play for private parties?
From time to time, I've done that personally, but I don't know about my friend here.
I've only been traveling alone for a little while, so I haven't done any private parties.
Well, my name is here, my goodness. Well, my man is he reaches into his pocket, he pulls out small business cards, which is rare. Like paper, nicely printed, ornate. These are probably handmade, and he hands you both one. And it says,
He's rich.
he's written, no, laminated. But he hands you these two business cards on a nice ivory paper. He goes, my name is Mercutio. I am the operator of the Umbridge Opera House, far to the west and south of here. If you ever feel like you want to be doing some form of bigger fish than this, feel free to let me know.
I mean, I'm a fish.
Never mind her. We'll be sure to keep it in mind.
I have a party coming up in no less than 5 days, and I'm still looking for some people to operate people rent out the main hall, and we have multiple entertainers. I'm still looking for a few vacant spaces to be filled, if you know what I'm referring to. Please let me know in the next 2 days if you'd like to be a part of this endeavor. There's several platinum pieces with your names on them if you're interested.
Wow, yeah, we'll keep it in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you for the offer.
Worry not too much. I'm not expecting anybody to go up on the fine stage of the Opera House. This is more simply just a group, a party for several nobles that will be in town. So it won't be a true performance. I don't want to scare you off with some interesting stage fright. Well, please don't let me keep you. By all means, resume your set. I will be taking a step off.
All
As a
right.
character, I feel like this party's gonna be a little bit screwy, and that's exactly where I want to go.
I kind of want to do that too.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. You're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Azreen and Valerie, this figure is just going to sit back down at their table and enjoy their fine wine. And go back to, watching you guys play. There's nothing more to it than that, and it's up to you guys to decide if you continue to it's like 10 o'clock at night. People are starting to kind of leave on their own accord. It's up to you guys if you want to continue. Past 10, if you guys wanted to go deep into the night, like 12 o'clock doing another set, I will probably say you guys should roll Constitution, like saving throws, to see if you become exhausted by this.
We've succeeded to the point that I don't really care if I fail, so I'm gonna roll.
Okay, it just means tomorrow, if you fail your Constitution saving throw, you will spend the day exhausted, is what it means. If you're cool with that risk, then by all means.
I think I'm done for the night, and so I'll just sit back and watch Valerie play some nighttime acoustics while she sips her juice.
Anyways,
I feel
this is
very
Wonderwall.
gambly.
But Valerie does Wonderwall. All right, and now roll the performance. I will roll a. Oh, listen, Valerie is starting to fall
averagely, very average.
Averagely, eyes are starting to fall asleep every now and then. Muscle memory is kind of taking over for the fingers. And you finish your set, you finish your song. You're going for another couple of hours. Azreen is just having some water, or maybe some more bland beverages, like an untainted cider. This place is well, it's a dwarven run place. This place is known for its beverages. Like, people will come in here to have a drink, and it is a nice place for that. So there's plenty to choose from that are non-alcoholic as well as alcoholic. It would be remiss of the dwarf to have anything less. But yeah, Valerie, you're just kind of like, and you kind of wake up and continue to play again.
With a 12, it's right in the middle. I'm just gonna roll percentile die, buddy. Unfortunately, if it was a resounding success or a resounding failure, things might have been different.
Oh boy.
I think Valerie is probably gonna spend the tomorrow with exhaustion, unfortunately.
Ah.
But you did yearn for that final set. You've gone for 4 in a row. I will roll. You've been a sport about it, so I am gonna go and I'm gonna do the big dice. Oh baby, I tripped.
Gamblers don't gain salt. They just gain or lose.
You get 10 gold pieces, but that's just for you. Not, but this 10 raw.
I have gained and I've lost.
Yeah, I mean, you're exhausted tomorrow, but it's exhausted doing what you love. In fact, I'm going to give you a point of inspiration. Mark inspiration on your character sheet.
Damn.
Well, I mean, I actually forget about inspiration a lot, and I really should be using it more often. And I'll probably, by the end of this, award inspiration to everybody for playing their character, even if it's in a negative way. Like, Valerie's like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to fucking go until my fingers bleed, and even though she's got at a point of exhaustion tomorrow, she deserves at least some kind of out-of-character.
She started with her fingers bleeding.
It only went down from there. Gareth, I'm going to give a point of inspiration for portraying his fear of water in a way that is both interesting and also quite fun. So put an inspiration on your chart for me, on your character sheet.
Right.
And Brookhill we're not done with, but we'll come back to that.
You get inspiration for being an asshole.
For being an asshole now. Gareth should have had one as of like 2 sessions ago, so I've been remiss. So that's my compensation. But Brookhill, what are you doing now in the final waning bits of the night? It's an undisclosed time. Some of the party is more ahead in time, but there's just Schrodinger's locations currently where who knows where you guys are when Valerie and Azarine end their set. You might be back by then, you might not be.
She's heading to the opera house. It looks fancy. There's
Okay. Roll a survival check for me again, because you're going deeper into the town.
Fancy attracts fancy.
Sure, it's a beautiful, well-lit location. There's large lanterns and a clock tower that adjoin it. It is large and
not
has
very hard to find.
No, it's very, very easy to find. 19. I was like, you have to go down some side roads because you're like trying to find the best place. There's no signage is not the best here.
I was scared to roll like a 2 and end up in like a brothel.
If you get a 2,
I think of all characters, I think Bruegel would be the most fine just accidentally walking into a brothel.
Oh, whoops, not again. Oh man. Back at it. But it's listen, brothels are equal opportunity here. You could find some I don't know what way Brughild swings, but either way it can be found in Umbridge Run.
Well, she's just looking for the opera house. It's fine.
You look for the opera house, and it's pretty easy to find. It's well lit. There's ornate carvings of a tiefling in marble, a human, and an elf, kind of like outstretched. Their private bits are artfully covered up with little leaves. And they have like sextants in their hands and globes, and they adorn the top of it, kind of like the way the Pantheon has its own collection of gods and deities. Roll religion for me. Why not? Have some fun with some lore.
Religion? Can I roll history?
No, this is something religious in nature.
That's fine.
Yeah, this is something that gives you some information already. Obviously, look up and you're like, no, this is religious iconography from the Umbran Empire, and it's their gods and deities. You think one is like the god of like drama, like playwriting, and also the Dionysus of their party, but you don't necessarily recognize the other one's probably Navigator because the one's got a sextant, but you're not super intimate with it. But this is clearly imperial in design, the opera house.
Gross imperial religion.
Just terrible. But it's more like the pagan deities before like the Gratian Tepel, like Christian analog. The worship of the mother goddess took over.
But didn't the Imperials also like colonize like
the Imperials?
Yeah, they
Made an
were.
empire.
The history is like similar to Rome, which originally worshipped like Jupiter and like the Zeus of another name and like these pagan deities, and they themselves originally fought against the spread of the mother goddess. They eventually themselves learned to adopt the religion and kind of assimilated it until it became basically their own. And so by nowadays, millennia later, yes, they are very much so worshippers of the mother goddess. You're referred to as an Umbram mother goddess worshipper. The same way as like the Roman Catholics. It's like where once you were crucified, now is the home and the seat of your religion. So how times have changed. But these gods that have been carved into the side of the opera house have been done so out of like out of patronage, out of respect. It's not an old building. Someone clearly did it with this kind of idea of the love of like, the ancient romantic playwrights.
The Imperials are just like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of cultural like masturbation is what it is. It's like, look at how our ancient deities that are now the muses of you hear a faint melody. There's a faint sound of symphony, of orchestra that comes out through the windows that are open on the side. The doors are closed and they are barred off with red velvet. But the symphony is hearable from even the streets. Even now, there's a few people that collect outside and clearly make a sport of listening secondhand to the things that go on in the opera. You hear a resounding, deep voice bellowing out some kind of resounding sound of turmoil, of sadness, some kind of unfortunate misgivings has happened within the context of the opera.
Is it a language I understand?
What would this one be written in? Similar to how many people enjoy writing operas in languages that are a little bit foreign to themselves, it's not in Imperial. This is actually written in Elvish.
All right.
It is
I ain't got no fucking clue then.
Yeah, it's a very liquid, very smooth dialect that has no strong consonants. And it's very melodic. It lends itself very well to song. And it's more. Many people attend these operas who don't know Elvish, but the idea is that like you can feel it. You can feel it.
Right. It's like operas in Latin.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not unusual for you to be like, my goodness. But yeah, it is what it is. What do you do?
I mean, I suppose since it's already going on, like it's closed. I can't just go in.
No, there's even a guard at the front door. There's two bouncers. A high class equivalent.
I'm gonna go ask the bouncers how if there's other shows, like if there's other presentations, probably not tonight because it's fairly late, but like tomorrow or whatever the hell.
Roll a general charisma check for me. Just click the charisma button on your skill sheet.
I'm not that stupid.
Yeah. It's fine. I want to revive to let everybody know because I forget. With the 13, I think Bittlekilt's done a pretty good job of like keeping herself prettied up and like looking the part of noble, even though she's kind of fallen. Obviously, your clothes could be a little bit better, but you thaumaturge your way through a lot of things, and Azreen has done your makeup quite well recently. I do recall she said she did that, so I will factor that in. And the two guards look at each other and they're kind of like, all right, yes, indeed, miss. There's, in fact, here, have a bout. And he reaches behind himself to the basket behind, and he picks out a small red pamphlet and hands it to you. And you see that there's a show every night. They start at 7 o'clock, and there's a few smaller events that happen throughout the day. But they're expensive. Like it's like a dozen gold pieces for a single ticket, and that's like in balcony. Like if you want like front row seating, it's like. It could be like 30 gold pieces. Like this is a rich man's and a rich woman's sport.
Jeebus.
The smaller stuff that happens during the day is like measured in single gold or silver, but they're not the opera.
Oh, thank you. I will take due note of this. She.
Have a good night, miss.
She's feeling kind of bummed.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see an opera. I wanted to do something fancy, but I guess there's nothing fancy to do. Maybe walk around a bit, eat the whatever's left of that bun.
Oh yes, those buns, huh? Yeah. You buy that. You get that bun going. At this point, it's getting late. A lot of the shops are closing up. You see people packing up their wagons and bringing them back home. There's only just a few people out on the streets that are like going home from work for the evening. There's a guard or two. Umbridge Run is not well known. It's incredible policing, but there's a fellow who's on a horse that comes by every now and then. And you I guess you're gonna roll another survival check for me. Kind of just aimlessly walking the streets.
Like vaguely head back towards the end, but not like in a straight line, just like
we'll see what happens. Damn.
You can take the 5 if it's funnier. I don't know.
No, you wander back and you hear the bells dinging out their 8th and 9th calls as you wander the streets. You see several people that are like in these high class carriages, and you kind of wistfully sigh, kind of being like, I remember when that was me. People that go through and almost like run over a puddle and like sprays across, and you just narrowly dodge back out of the way before your skirts are covered in mud.
Ugh.
As the driver whips at these stallions, these black horses, and the people go by. You are kind of just wandering the streets, trying to meander your way back to the inn that you were staying at, and you look off into the distances to see these beautiful tavern works that are more like palaces almost, these beautiful things of glass and lights. And now at the clearer skies of the night, you see Queen's Landing proper across the way, across the sea, and it looks like looking at like the world's biggest ship with like lanterns everywhere. It's like floating out on the ocean. It's this beautiful city and towers that go high into the sky. And it is not where you are. It is clearly a beautiful high-class place, and it is not here.
Have I been there?
Here we go again. Roll a history for me. Yes, you have. I guess, if it works best for your narrative. You've probably been here once or twice before as a young lassie, wandering through the streets at the behest of your grandfather, just kind of being taken care of by your mother, who is more in the know on the details of nobility and business. This is a common place for lumber and spices to come through, as well as other
regular stuff.
Yeah, Windthrow doesn't have a lot of its major exports would be like wool, timber, iron, stuff that's more like just really, really raw. It doesn't really export things like that have cultural relevance, like weapons and armor and operas and plays and magic. Winthrow's a very underdeveloped location. So here is a lot of like spices that come through is the biggest thing. But you've walked those streets before, those tall towers and glass palaces. The duchy makes her place there. You visited once before. You recall they had wonderful flan.
She misses flan probably. Like, I miss just having good food every day, every meal, all the time. Like not wondering if I'm gonna have good food in a day, you know? Because now she's like, sure, she eats, but
you miss the gout.
Yeah.
You have gout?
She wishes. God, she wishes. Within the hour, you find yourself returning back to the tavern.
She looks a little bummed. It's a little bummed out.
I think it's for the sake of convenience. Valerie and Azarine are finishing up their set. Azarine looks very tired and exhausted, even. Valerie, when you have 1 point of exhaustion, I don't know if you're familiar, but you make your skill checks at disadvantage, but nothing else is affected.
Yes.
So if I ask, like, roll a perception check, disadvantage.
Little did you know, I'd fail it anyway.
So you're gonna have to probably use a lot of bardic inspirations just to keep up the averages.
I can't give myself bardic inspiration.
You can't really?
No, nope.
Damn. All right.
Don't worry, I got you.
You can pat your pals on the back, but you can't pat yourself on the back.
Well,
you can't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps.
I got you covered, Valerie. Don't worry about it.
What a grim fucking, what a life-like disappointment that we just can't pat yourself on. We're gonna pop back over to Gareth real quick because I think we're gonna be, after he's finished, we'll have reconvened and it'll be quick. And also in turn order, Gareth is, I suppose. Next, Gareth, where have we gone?
I have paid the toll.
Gareth is walking along the tall bridge. You're about 50 feet off the waters, but there are various carts, several that are like wagon trains, like multiple covered wagons being pulled by like a team of horses, like 8 horses. A few other that are like that. Some people are walking along the side that is reserved for like single riders and people like yourself who are simply walking. A man is walking through with a large shovel, and he is unfortunately just shoveling like horse shit into the water below. Did we? Speaking of BRB hungry, Brukil, are you still here? Should we take a break before we come back to Gareth? Just a short 5 minute, just to get some food. I think we'll go a little bit while longer to justify having a break. I think we'll probably go to at least 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pause right here. Gareth looks out on the beautiful horizons of Queen's Landing, and having paid the toll, and seemingly is making his way towards possible.
How much do I have to pay for the toll, by the way?
It's 1 silver. It's 1 silver.
Oh, just 1 silver?
It is not
damn,
supposed to
right,
be.
cool.
It's, I mean, hundreds or maybe even thousands. No, just hundreds of people use this bridge every day, and with that's a lot of money. And you're also just you're just an individual. You're not traveling. You're not selling. You're not a merchant. I'm actually gonna say it's only 5 copper pieces for you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Well, the silver is it's just like they have to pave the road somehow. They have to keep the bridge working, and so that's
understandable. And yeah, no, Garrett
but yeah, just an individual who's like, I'm just going for a jaunt. It's like it's 5 copper pieces. It's not supposed to be expensive. It's just to keep the lights on.
That's
mark
fair.
down 5 copper or half a silver. But yeah, we're going to pause. I'm going to go to the please stand by menu, and we'll return in just 5 minutes. It's going to be a short break this time, guys, just because it's already getting late, and I don't really have much more, but we'll see. BRB, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we're back. When last we left our heroes, Gareth, you are wandering down the bridge, the actual Queen's Landing bridges.
Mhm.
You are free to do as you please. You paid the toll. It's about 5 copper, and you're walking with what goal?
Pardon?
What are you doing? What's your goal? What's the aim here?
I mean,
what are you doing?
he is kind of wandering the streets. I'm assuming that since it's wobbly time stuff, whatever the fucking line is, like it's still like before sundown, right? Like the shops aren't closed just yet, right?
Yeah, it's like 7 o'clock. It's 7:30. The shops stay open later. It's the sun is beginning to peek down over the horizon. You imagine that for the people down in the actual city, in the town, it is nighttime. But for you way up higher on these bridges, you actually still get to see the sun as it disappears over the curve of the earth.
Yeah, well, he kind of looks out as he kind of walks, just letting him be himself after being like, because the main reason why he's walking around is like to stretch out his legs. He's been like, he got that one little burst of activity, right? At the destroyed post, the trading post, right? But other than that, like, he has been cooped up for a long time, and he didn't care much for it. He didn't care much for it. I mean, like, it was better than him having to deal with water the entire time, right? But still, he feels a little cramped and just feels like he should just get some walking in, He's going, but if you want to know a direction while he's looking at different shops and any things that might catch his eye, he is decidedly heading towards like where more Inquisition enlisted would be.
Sure.
Maybe not to the headquarters itself.
Yes. What Gareth sees with his eyeballs as he walks further down the roads. Light's getting dimmer. You have dark vision. Dim light's the same as bright light.
I do.
So you see the middle strut that comes out of the water that keeps this bridge aloft at its halfway point. You look at it actually, and at the very bottom are several boats that are docked, and you see that there are several flights of stairs that go up the outside of it. And there's actually several wooden like levels that stick out from this bridge support. And it seems like there's a little like a micro town built around the base of the bridge, and even goes into the bridge, like there's like a tunnel and like a door that leads inside, and you presume like it goes up. And at the very top of that is in the middle of the road that is on purposely in the way is a sheltered aft castle that is a small little outpost, and it does wave the Inquisition flags as well as the Queen Landing flag. It is a mixture of the two, one after the other. And you are probably like 200 feet away. You're walking. There's characters that are stopped every now and then. For the most part, some people you can tell that some people have plates that they look silvered, and they just go right on through, easy path. Then there are people who are sticking on the inner lanes that have to actually stop, and you see a few officers that one of them is like Inquisition officers, and then the others are clearly enlisted. And they look over everything, and they look underneath, and they kind of, you can tell that there's supposed to be this, maybe a little bit more thorough of a check than they're actually doing, but the idea is contraband. Both of the magical variety, but also of the simple, like, did you pay your taxes on this ale variety? And you are welcome to walk up to them if you would like to, or I don't know what your plan was, but you are in charge of the scene.
I have a demon question.
Sure.
The little town thing that you said that was like up like one of the pillars of the bridge, is that like a shanty town, or is that like a
as you get closer, I'm going to have you roll perception.
Sure. Within
100 feet, you gaze over the side and look down to the ground below. It's definitely ad hoc, and it was not designed with this in mind, and there are pieces of it that are definitely shanty, like tin roof, and like pieces of seaweed are being used to tie off some of it, but they're like, the boats are docked, and those boats look like they are in fact like actual merchant vessels, and it does seem like people of quite fancy garb are walking up and down these, but there are a few people who are like, you see like a couple of tieflings and a couple of kobolds and a dragonborn down there that are kind of like, they're wearing like dirty clothes, and you can see someone kind of like yelling like, "Hey, get that stuff moving! Come on, no slacking off on the clock!" And there's people that are kind of like, they're kind of like they're throwing their weight around trying to get this people to move quicker, unloading vessels and unloading stuff. You see a few people down there with their arms crossed, wearing like some swords on their backs and like some scimitars out their sides. Like it looks like there's some level of like enforcement down there. With 19 perception, Gareth.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it looks like people are. Some are a little bit less fortunate, and they have a job, but is it a good job? It puts food on the table.
Yeah, but but like it's interesting that they're doing it here.
It is like right below the Inquisition office, technically. Like you wonder even if like there's a door like just somewhere around, like a hatch or a door, like somewhere, like maybe up ahead there's like an outlet similar to a train station, like a subway station entrance,
right?
Something like that might be up ahead. That would lead into the bridge itself, the inside of it, like walking inside of a large Roman aqueduct almost. But you don't see that just yet. Maybe on the other side of the toll booth.
Interesting. Well, Garrett's gonna keep that in mind, because that is kind of peculiar, because he definitely doesn't remember seeing that ever.
It is new, yeah.
That's and like kind of weird that they're doing it at such a strange location, but it's not his place to butt in just yet. And he's just going to continue. If there's like an open path for him to walk through customs, quote unquote.
Sure. The people that are walking to and fro. Well, it's
like
getting late.
he's not like backpacking, right? Like he doesn't have his, like he is in like simple clothes. He doesn't seem to be like carrying a lot of shit.
Yeah, you're out for a stroll.
Yeah.
There are people. There's a little bit of a bottleneck that happens. People are clearly waiting in a queue line, and it is here that you're kind of forced to come to a stop. The idea is that this line is for people who are going to then pay their toll, and then they're going to walk on through and go to Queen's Landing, the island on the other side. But
another toll?
No, I'm sorry. No, this is where you would pay.
So the money that I already deducted, I'll be fine then?
Yeah, you can actually have that back. It didn't occur to me that this is like we kept talking about the Inquisition. That is the toll booth, and technically you don't actually have to pay until you get there. To cross the bridge is the toll, and this is the halfway point. The Inquisition.
Right. Okay. Because I was a little confused there. All right.
Yeah,
we're good. Then he will wait in line to pay the toll. He's fine with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you eventually. It's a few minutes. It's late at night. There's not many people. Some people are like they have big backpacks and stuff like that. Other people also look like they're a stroll. There's a few people. There's these two small little gremlin-looking motherfuckers. And they're taken aside. They're profiled, and it's pretty bad.
I thought you said no racism.
Well, what happens is after
no racism against people.
Yeah, little gremlins don't count. No, but what happens is they're taken aside, and a few of them are they put up a little bit of a fight of an argument. But one of the Inquisition officers kind of like points at their bag, and they open up the bag, and they do pull out what appears to be a small satchel of spice. And nothing happens besides the Inquisition going back into the office, takes out a ticket-making machine with like a sticker, essentially, and they force the small goblinoids to pay the proper tax for it, and they slap the sticker on the side of the box, and then they send them on. But yeah, you eventually get to the toll until you see a small elven woman behind the counter. There's just iron bars that separate you from them, and she kind of like looks up and down, just goes, 5 copper, please.
Hi, evening. And he just kind of just like some banal like small chalk as he like kind of fishes out copper.
Mm-hmm. She nods, she indulges you. It's late. You're kind of like the last person at this point. It's like 8 o'clock.
It's everything been all peaceful lately? I heard about Dullahan.
Roll a general charisma check. There's no skill that's like actual
general charisma, huh?
Yeah, the idea of like how good are you at being. That's not bad.
Not bad.
She looks up and down. Yeah. Oh no, I heard some bad things coming from the upper northern area. Something about Otto's regiment getting decimated. I hope he's all right. I think he should be fine. And she's gonna examine you. And though you're not dressed in Inquisition attire, you are wearing. Nope.
I'm good.
Nope. She doesn't even know that you're wearing clothes. She just sees those fucking bara tibbies, and she is very distracted. But she just kind of looks up and goes, I don't know what you might have heard. A lot of the news hasn't spread here quite yet recently, but we're getting word in, and
it's a bit tough, but I'm sure that the Inquisition is going to be taking care of it for us.
Taking care of it for us. Is she not an Inquisition member?
Hmm?
Like, she's made it sound like she was like a different party.
Yeah, she did, and I'm not gonna make you roll or anything.
They're very distracting titties.
They're very distracting titties. Well,
another thing for the art book.
Another thing for the art book. Yeah, she's sweating. She reaches out, she gets a handkerchief out, she fucking dabs her forehead. Then she just normally dabs, and then she goes back talking.
Oh my god.
No, this is a woman that is hired by the Inquisition. She's paid by the Inquisition, but she's just a teller.
Okay.
Like she's a quote unquote civilian.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like all she does here is just sign the tickets and take the
that
money.
She doesn't fucking recognize that he is wearing, like, it's open, right? He's not like buttoned up or whatever,
Yeah,
but he's still wearing the jacket.
The titties are out.
That's why she's so like.
It's dark and she doesn't have like a very good view on you, and she's not familiar with like captain's garb. Like the highest rank person that she would know is a sergeant. So she doesn't necessarily recognize the jacket.
She's too busy trying to imagine him without the clothes.
She's trying. She's undressing you.
No.
But no, she's not familiar with the. She's not familiar with officers like stuff. So she wouldn't recognize that stuff immediately. Maybe, if it was another night and she wasn't as tired, she might recognize you. But it's one of those nights for her.
Yeah,
honestly,
that works in my favor.
Yeah, it's just random chance. Sometimes people don't notice things that they should otherwise. But yeah, she talks with you for a bit. She's welcome to any kind of. She's open and receptive to whatever conversation topics you want to bring up. You're the last person.
A citizen.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like working a regular toll booth in real life. Like you don't think of them as state troopers. Like they work for the state, but they're not the same as the police.
True.
They can certainly go call a state trooper if you run through the toll booth without paying. But she's not the person who's going to chase you down and like tase you.
Right.
But she has information. She's willing to share.
I'm actually traveling, and I was wondering if you would know if travel to Cape Solomon, if it was going to be easier by boat or caravan.
Oh, well, are you planning on taking a private vessel, or were you hoping for something public?
Most likely public.
Let me check. She stands up and she goes to a back room. You can see her from here. The door's open. She's a tall, slender elf. She reaches to the top shelf, and you can see there's multiple letter boxes and several memos, and she opens a couple of them and reads them. And then she looks at a large map that is pinned up on the wall. It's like 4 foot by 5 foot, and it just shows the top left-hand section of Windthrow in a more detailed cutout than perhaps we are privy to here on Roll 20 or in the stream. Sorry, everyone. And it shows like routes. There's dotted lines that go through the water that show like stuff that goes around from Port Solomon to Cape Verde to Port Verde to Girasoli, farther still, and Fort Dolahan. And you can actually see there's like a red line over Fort Dolahan, and like several notes that are like pinned there. But she looks through some of the memos and she cross-references and goes, I'm sorry, but Inquisition-run vessels are currently not going to be stopping at Cape Solomon. There's been requisition ships, and there's a shortage of supplies and money. Apparently, we're moving ships to recover Otto von Balthazar's men from Kirith soon, and so the ships will be down for the next week or so. Perhaps longer. Minor delays, I assure you. Perhaps a private vessel would be willing to venture, though. We have several partnered.
Yes. I mean, a vessel or a well-known caravan.
Sure. They're always going to be more expensive, but they are vetted by our Inquisition, and they are also abiding by the law, as well as well-staffed with defenders. Just make sure you have the coin for it, I suppose. And she'll, if you want her to, she takes out a piece of scrap paper, takes out a quill and ink, dips it in, and she'll write down the name of a couple of caravans, 2 or 3 caravans. And also the name of 4 shipping companies, and she doesn't do individuals. She does like companies, like the idea of like they're partnered, like they're Inquisition partners. And she slides them back over to you, and I'll type them out to you later if you want like specific names. But just to be what's important for Gareth to know is that they're partnered companies, and also there will be Inquisition people on board. That are in theory supposed to be guard members.
Is it gonna be like guarded by? Okay, so I thought it was like.
Well, that's part of the partnership, right? It's like we'll take a little off the top and we'll supply like 1 or 2 Inquisition officers.
Salty, what are you thinking?
But there's, if you want to, roll persuasion.
Persuasion. Huh?
No, yeah, roll persuasion. I mean,
Right.
I like to interpret if you're at the table, if you're in the voice call, there's out of character versus in character. But I feel like out of character stuff that we say, the reactions are genuine, and sometimes the characters would react that way. So perhaps she senses your disappointment. That perhaps you, the player, has. She kind of thinks, she's like, if you want to come back tomorrow, maybe I can find more private vessels that might be willing, but I don't have any right now off the top of my head. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Thank you though. I'll keep this.
Was there anything else that you needed?
Um.
Anything else that you wanted?
Excuse me.
Nothing.
Like what you see, red boy.
She wipes her forehead. Sweaty elf.
Any good places to eat on the Queen's Isle? Just give me some place to go. I'm saying that out of character.
No, she gets it. She understands. She picks up what you're putting down. She says, "Well, if you want to swing by tomorrow, here's a few places."
Oh my god.
I know.
This is 100% being drawn.
Yeah, she writes down she's kind of like blushing, her cheeks are all red, and she writes down the name of like a fish and steak shop that is a restaurant. And she slides it over to you.
Thank you. Well, he kind of looks behind him to see if there's anyone like behind him. There anyone?
There's no one else. It's like it's like 8:15 at this point. Like there's nobody else who wants to travel over the bridges this time of day at this night.
I don't have an excuse.
Also, the best part is that you paid the toll to cross the bridge to go to Queen's Landing, but your inn is back the way you came. So you came up, you're gonna pay the toll, and then you're gonna turn around and go back the way you came.
Yeah, I mean, like the nightlife, man.
Yeah,
no,
understandable. Yeah. Roll charisma again.
Oh no.
Yeah, definitely.
Fuck
you.
I hate this.
No. Passive charisma.
Yeah, you're able to pull that off. Like, I just live in the nightlife. Totally, that's what I'm doing here. Yeah.
Drew Azarine and Brew killed, I guess. Now it's this chick.
Anyways, I best be exploring the aisle myself.
Okay, Salty, what kind of water bottle are you mutilating?
Plastic.
You put that down, motherfucker.
Because it's going straight to my
Sorry.
ear, straight to my ears.
I'm not even near the mic with that. Damn.
Hey, you got a good mic, man.
Fuck.
Gareth attempts to escape.
Yes. No.
You depart.
I don't like how you just said that. Just like so short. Like
You depart.
you
run
depart.
away.
You depart. You return back the way you came.
No, not the way I came. No, I'm going.
Oh, you're going to
in.
Queen's Landing. You're a fool. You're a fool, Ned Stark. Sure, you go into Queen's Landing.
Yeah, I'm going in.
I skip some time. It's quite a walk across these bridges. They're quite large and they span like the mouth of the river. Essentially, they're going from delta to delta.
I have a big stride.
Yeah, so it's it's all.
It's a big river.
Conveniently, you'll likely return home around 10 o'clock. But yeah, you get to the other side and come out the other side of the bridge in a much larger, much more richly decorated city that does have like oil lamps. There's a huge clock tower off in the distance that strikes, let's say 9 o'clock. It plays a faint ditty, the bells chiming off in the distance. You see a large cathedral as well, far forward, like something that's meant for like actually like worship, and is for like the whole island almost. It's huge.
Gotcha.
What are you looking for?
Well, shit, since it's 9, there's not gonna be any shops.
Well, I mean, it's Queen's Landing. Like it's one of the few cities that wouldn't sleep.
True.
There's probably only like 4 cities in this campaign that
have like a nightlife that is consistent, and or maybe 5. And
implying the entirety of Umbrum isn't constantly partying all the
it
time.
is constantly. One of the places in this setting is called like Livitatum's Serenatum or whatever, and it's just City of Lights, and it's because they never turn off. It's always
Lumina
turned.
Civitatem.
There you go.
Called.
Thank you very much. But it is
Christ.
90% turn all the time.
Well, it's just like, if there's shops, you might poke his head in.
Sure, I mean you can poke your head in a few of them.
He is still going to wander slowly towards the Inquisition.
Sure, you walk almost the first street that you go, the first intersection, the first junction. There's 2 Inquisition officers on horseback that just kind of saunter past. It is very clearly a different. It feels like a different area. Like if you feel like you've crossed like a loading screen. And the first few shops that you go in, there's like an armorer's, not like a blacksmith, but like someone who just deals in armor, and they're not made in house. They're imported and they're brought in. Like in the window, there's mannequins, and like there's someone wearing like Chinese like dynastic armor, like that lamellar sort of thing, as well as like a samurai garb. Like there's people who are trading in very foreign, like like that, and that's sort of like all it does is deal in armor, and like if you want to go inside, this is where you'd get like +1 armor of like fire bending and like stuff like that. Like in the windows, like some of their finest pieces, like the samurai garb, just by wearing it would increase your dexterity score by 1. It's you look at the price tags, and I'm not gonna bother. it doesn't matter.
He sees that, he just kind of chuckles to himself. It's like Alexander would enjoy something like this. Like
you can see him now.
Like he could, absolutely. But he continues down. If there's something that looks like he might be able to buy, he might look a little closer, right? Like charms or
sure. The only thing that he would find is going in a few of the shops that are like general stores. The idea that they're providing some kind of provisions for like the bodyguards shop, and like they would have a few charms in the front door. The rest is like food and tents and stuff like that, obviously of higher quality than what you already have. These are like sleeping bags that are meant for like I'm sleeping at the tops of mountains. Tents that are for resisting the harsh winds of northern Windthrow, and they're just like a few charms. Like the first one that comes to mind is one that would be something that gives you heat resistance, fire resistance, which is something that wasn't originally on the original PDF file. Fire being resistant to fire is in general more useful than being resistant to cold. It is correspondingly a little bit more expensive. It's plus 25 gold on top of the one that's already in there. That was for cold resistance.
Gotcha.
So I can only give that to you in the form of a function, but it's the best that I can do. As well as like silvered weapons, like weapons that are just come silvered, and stuff like that. It is cheaper to buy them pre-silvered than it would be to silver your own, but correspondingly, there's way less choice. Like there's just short swords.
Why would I ever? Because
of course you have your baby. Why would you do that?
I have
Yeah, but this is where you'd go to silver weapons. Like there's a silversmith shop, and that's like all he does.
So would we have to be on the Queen's Isle to get silvered weapons?
Well, at the very least, you have to come drop them off, and then come
okay,
back.
I thought there was some in Umbridge or Umbridge Run or whatever.
Umbridge Run doesn't quite have that level of expertise available.
I see.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the bridge was like 20 minutes back.
Knowledge. We're getting knowledge here, folks.
+1 weapons of any kind can be purchased here. You kind of feel that. That's not something that like you walk in a store and they're advertising, but the idea
+1 weapons. Hey,
yeah,
+1.
But they're wildly expensive, and also like Gareth is like, not all of them would be like. I bet that I could find somebody who would ask me if I'm a cop, and then would be willing to show me to like the private clubs. That like the rich man's like club, where it's like, I hear you need a little tool, like a little something to make your bodyguards have the edge, and that's where that would begin the descent into
God forbid
the black.
You did not bring your very rich-looking friend.
Listen, certain NPCs react to certain player characters and backstories. You can leverage certain traits your characters have.
He looks.
Gareth gets a lot of people that advertise like weapons and stuff to him because he looks he's a big, tall Arkevan that's like looking like he has a sword already.
People who are into titties.
Also, people that are into
titties.
But yeah, it's a lot of that. You see several street performers that are doing like nightly shows. People who are like professional like fire breathers and like dragonborn who are showing off like more natural talents of like shaping fire and things like that. This is something that would go all night. You see several bars that are more like
it's gonna be your first drink is like 5 gold, and then preceding ones might be more. This is a rich place. This is a place for. Well, I mean, you look around, you do see adventurers, but it's like these are people who have been in the retinue of like dukes.
Right.
But yeah, eventually you come across like down the way, far and attached to the ocean. This fort is more on the water. You see several black ships of the Inquisition docked right next to the fort. It's the Inquisition headquarters. Is that the goal, or are you just going to stop in one of the smaller departments down the way to try and get information? Because there's also like remote locations, right? There's like just like the police station equivalent, which is like on the corner of certain streets. There'll be a office that has like a dozen or so Inquisition officers, but like Inquisition lined streets. However, you haven't been arrested yet, which is good news.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I haven't been trying to hide or nothing. I'm a very noticeable man.
This was a risky test. This was a good test. It was a risky test, is what you've done. But you've passed with flying colors. But it's up to you if you want to go to the main fort or if you want to just go to one of the tertiary locations.
I feel like I could get because there's the two things I want to know or want to see if I can figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like
is what you're saying also like to the party at large, out of character.
Out of character.
Metagaming crows. We're all like
metagaming crows.
What do we want to know about Queen's Landing? Well, what Garrett's here.
What do you guys want to know? Also, I personally want to see because Otto was telling me that he was waiting orders from HQ, so I want to see if maybe they already got the orders and see what that plan is to deal with the Twin Tails.
Ooh, we might be able to solve that right here and now. Roll perception check.
Oh boy, oh fuck. And then 16. Oh,
okay.
Shit.
You look around and you're like, I think I know how to solve this. And you step off to one of the signs and you climb one of the staircases that lead to one of the terrace rooftop like restaurants, and you kind of like feign looking at the menu. But what you really wanted was like aerial view of the bay. And you see a warship. You see a Inquisition like galleon, like a dreadnought lined with cannons, and that is something that would have been sent from HQ.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
That's not like, oh, Commander Otto. It's like the next step above that is like, okay, General, Marshal, Shipmaster.
Yeah, no, like it's like that other character. I mean.
Yeah, it's like
it's like
that's a level 15 person's boat. What that is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's ooh.
And that is in dock. So that was likely sent from HQ. It's a big ship. It's a big old ship. It is one of the few ships in this setting that actually is starting to take advantage of like steamboat power as well as like sails. So you see like 4 sails along the top, as well as like these gigantic black wheels on the side as well that would paddle it basically upriver and downriver when the wind is low, and also just bristling. There's 3 rows of cannon. But that probably answers one question, possibly.
It does. Partially.
Mm-hmm.
While I still think about Inquisition things, is there any input from the party as out of character that, oh, you should see if you can find this out? Because I'm here.
I don't know. I mean, I thought, like, we still haven't figured out how long we're staying here and what our plan is. Like,
yeah. Like, how are we gonna get to, whatchamacallit?
Cape Solomon.
Yeah, how are we gonna get
cool.
there?
Okay, that's what Gareth tried to do, but it didn't really.
I mean, if you tried a little harder with her, maybe she could give you more information.
Flirt off or something.
Like, go back to the end. Everybody's still up. Like,
True.
Not too
Well, I
late.
mean, I feel like since I'm here, I feel like I need to make the use of it, right?
I don't mind if you guys want to out of character metagame.
You did ask the nice bridge lady, the teller lady.
God.
Yeah, you look down at the note and it says Tiffany on the bottom as well with a little heart.
Okay. He just pockets it. He's like, okay. I think I need to go to the main fort, Gray.
If you want to try, yeah, you can.
Because
how are you gonna get in? That's not.
I'm wearing like dress casuals.
You're gonna try and leverage your background. Hey, I'm cool with it, man. That's fine. You start walking down the way.
Oh God, I hate making decisions.
I know.
Why don't I do this to myself?
I don't think DM has to do anything. This is up to you to decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to take advantage of the fact that this is your first night here and that you guys kind of made good time down the river and try and do some research now, or do you want to wait, regroup?
She said 2 weeks.
To get like the boats before the routes start up again, not before the boats are back necessarily. Yeah, 2 weeks before the routes are back up and running. Or so someone told her.
Did she mention when the boats would be back? Like,
sounds like you're gonna have to go on that date.
She did not mention, unfortunately. She was kind of talking like as a general like citizen to citizen, like, oh, one of the boats gonna be resumed. She kind of assumed that that's what you wanted to know. She didn't realize that you would be like, She had no reason to believe or think that you guys were
know exactly when Otto von Balthazar.
Yeah, she kind of assumed that was like, oh, I just want to know when the boats are gonna be back again. So she didn't really give you that specific. She was just kind of like, oh, the routes will be back up in about 2 weeks. So presumably they'll be back in refueling, but way before then. And then Otto and von Balthazar and local commanders will have convened, and who knows if that's today or tomorrow or the next day or the next day after that or a week from now. And the only way to find out is to take some risk, or you can be like, yeah, it's not worth it.
That's right.
Yeah, this is what the game's about. Oh man, D&D.
Okay.
Risky business. Not taking risks necessarily, but deciding if you even want it.
Yep. He is like kind of this, because he has a short sword, which it is a Inquisition's like issue. I think the one that he has with him right now is.
I think so.
And he just kind of just repositions his like dress casual jacket, kind of fixes it, because I mean it was just kind of like it was open with his undershirt underneath, because
sure
it's kind of warm.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of warm.
It is. Winter's tropical.
Yeah. But he kind of fixes that back up. And he's just gonna walk towards it because he needs to think. Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to be a high DC you have to beat. I am going to ask you to roll performance. And the idea is Gareth is like realizing now, like, okay, this is a little bit like, I gotta work, I gotta push past my anxieties and play the part.
Right. Because I'm not going in as Gareth Durant. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, roll advantage on the performance. This is something you are familiar with. You are a knowledgeable subject. A 9. Well, this is a competitive thing. Someone, you walk in, Gareth. You are approaching the fortress. You are dressed in the appropriate fashion for an officer off duty, and you have a few Inquisition officers who greet you. They doff their hats or lift their visors, correspondingly if they are a swordsman or a knight, and address you as captain. I believe you have the badge on you somewhere.
Yeah, I do.
They continue on their way. They riding their horses down the roads. Eventually you get to the front of the fort. There's a large portcullis. There's a smaller door that is for traveling through in the off hours, and there's a guard out front who he looks at you and he addresses you as captain. He salutes.
Evening.
Good evening, sir. What can I do for you?
I was okay, he's gonna give me a second. Give me, the player, a second. He's not fucking this up yet.
I don't mind if any player ever wants to be like, Gareth does this, but I don't necessarily have the dialogue prepared for that.
Right. Like he wants to say that. Oh fuck! Do I take a gamble? Hey, Cat, do I take a gamble?
What? Don't ask me.
Valerie, are we taking gambles?
Valerie, taking gambles.
Love gambling.
All right. He's gonna mention.
Hell yeah.
Seeing that the dreadnought finally came in, and that like he was just seeing like who from HQ kind of showed up.
Ah, indeed, yes. The Kaiser just pulled into port yesterday. The Kaiser being the name of the ship.
Okay.
We have Shipmaster Doman within the fort as we speak.
I see. Any brings word from homeland?
Indeed, he does. He bears with him the sigils of the Emperor and the priestess both. They have heard the destruction at Fort Dullahan, and I'm quite excited that they have taken the time to return to this place and give us our forward, what am I looking for? Our commands.
Yeah, I've been quite nervous about that myself. Do you have any idea of what that might entail?
Oh my, it is not my place to assume the mastership of the leadership, but I can, perhaps I can wager a guess. Why don't you roll persuasion for me? With advantage, you've lucked out, and you actually mentioned a few things that do make Gareth seem more. You took the risk, and it paid off.
Persuasion. Fuck!
We gambling out here.
He looks at you, he sees that you're a captain, and he is but a humble guard, and he goes, No, I dare not simply try to deign the intentions of the leadership. I will simply follow my orders to the T. It is for the place of the officers.
You are both going to make me age like 20 years.
Yeah,
He is not tricked into
well.
giving you any more.
He's not tricked into giving me any more mission. So other than who did he say?
Shipmaster Doman.
Dolman.
Doman.
Dolman. History check?
Sure.
Let them watch this 20, baby.
Wow.
He was the headmaster of the academy during your tenure there.
Literally called it.
He is the naval commander of the Navy of Gracia Tapel. The Kaiser is his flagship. He is there's like the inner circle that's like the quote unquote leaders of if you guys pissed off the Inquisition, he would be one of the big bads, and if you guys somehow allied with the Inquisition, good fucking luck. He'd be like your greatest Yeah, he's way up. He's like
Guess
he's
what,
like a level.
fucker? That means he remembers your face.
He's like a level
I'm
16
not,
fighter.
Oh, wait a second.
And he was the headmaster, and I think you told me that Gareth was like a shining star. Unfortunately, he would probably recognize your face. I mean, maybe he wouldn't. Maybe it's he's taught and he's helped hundreds upon thousands of students.
Tall and red.
Were any of them big and red?
Surely there's been more than one Orkeethan that's come through the Inquisition.
Maybe a red tiefling, but not as big as him.
A tiefling, but like 8 feet tall and shredded out of its mind. Its mom was a minotaur.
It's like, you grew a lot.
God. Okay. I see.
But this guard is a lieutenant. He is
Picked a bad day to stand out with the character design.
Yeah, I know the horror. He doesn't. The failed persuasion is just like he's not gonna try and guess.
Gossip.
He doesn't want to gossip in front of Captain.
Do you know any officers who came with Dolman? What's his rank again? What's his rank?
This guy's a lieutenant, so he's pretty up there.
No, Dolman. I know he's
Doman,
like, is he
shipmaster.
admiral?
Shipmaster is the fictional representation of like the Grand Admiral. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shipmaster Dolman. Any other officers from Gracia?
Let him think. Let's see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This guy's he's a guard. He probably watches a lot of people. He's a high level character. Gareth looking him up and down. This lieutenant is like, you outrank him, but like he's probably like a 7th level fighter. This dude. Because you're on Queen's Landing, so he has a good score when it comes to identifying people. A few. He brought a handful of advisors with him. I'm forgetting which voices are which. Oh my goodness. One moment, please. Let me think about it. I have to go back through. A brash fellow. I don't remember his name. And a few others as well. Some of the high command, the Inquisition's studying division. Some of the scholars responsible for delving deep into the magics of the land.
Girlfriend.
I see.
Apparently, Fort Dullahan was I must be honest, it was a tragedy, but the shipmaster has reacted with full force. Apparently, this is a dark affront. Whoever is responsible has certainly earned the ire of Gracia Tapel.
I would agree with that.
I can only hope those responsible are brought to justice.
Aye. Well.
I'm sorry, sir. Forgive me. Were you planning on entering the fortress? I should not keep you.
Yes, I just...
Please, allow me to step aside. And he opens up the door, and inside is just darkness and just like...
Darkness? I can see darkness. Fuck
okay,
you.
it becomes dim light. And all of you see other Inquisition officers like sitting at a table, and like some are drinking and some are like doing tic-tac-toe, and every single one of them has like a red skull above their head, like marking them as like enemy that is very high level. And they all look at you and they wave. You're like a level, you're like a level 4, level 3 adventurer, and you're like in an MMO, and you're walking through like the area, and like there's been a few expansions since this game. There's like there's like a level 50 turtle.
Yeah, that's a level 50 turtle. Yeah, that's kind of wild,
A mouse comes out and steals some of the cheese, and it's like level 19. It's like a level 19 paladin.
Gareth, think about Jennifer.
And then and then the mouse disappears.
Her
back
name
into
is
the wall.
Tiffany.
Tiffany, first of all.
Jennifer's away, Tiffany.
Cat, I'm going to die.
Why do you say this to me? You took this stupid ass decision, and you're going to live with the consequences of your action, young man.
Yeah, why do you continuously?
Actually, I just remembered. I had any kind of Hurley kind of turns around and tries to like the fish out, and he pulls out the paper with Tiffany's name on it.
Roll persuasion with like triple advantage for using something that the DM forced upon you for advantage.
Persuasion.
Yeah.
Oh fuck me.
The 10.
Ah!
Hey! Let this be a lesson. If player characters are ever like, let me use the plot that just happened to advance my own personal goals, I will be very impressed, and I will reward you.
Tiffany's lucky paper.
Tiffany's lucky paper. He looks at it and just goes, indeed, sir, I completely understand. No, please.
My apologies. Have a good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. Please, return back and hopefully...
Turns around and starts walking away.
He shuts the door, and there's a locking sound behind it. There's a bar, obviously, on the other side, and Gareth departs back down Queen's Landing, walking rather briskly.
Hey, Tiffany saved her ass, dude. Tiffany fucking like...
You owe her now.
Within the hour, I assume you return back to the inn.
Yep, and I am very quiet. And
Garrett,
a little pale.
Brukiel just walks to the door and sees Valerie exhausted on her guitar, just like we left the scene earlier, and Azarine is like putting away her cider and like packing things up for the night, and then poof, the door opens up and Garrett walks through and shuts the door behind him. The four of you have reconvened.
Either I'm not used to it and you're just as distraught as normal, or you're extra distraught right now.
Valerie, I think it's time for you to go to bed.
I was making my mattress.
What?
My mattress.
The mattress is upstairs.
Well, I thought I came
Wait,
in.
where have I?
Did I not come into one of the rooms, or did I?
I figured this was just like downstairs, and Valerie was just finishing up their guitaring, but
slowly trying to get Valerie to go to bed.
I think it's very in character of Valerie in this moment to be like, I'm very tired. Where am I? Trying to go to bed on the bar top.
Yeah.
She's like, you know what? I'm rolling with that mistake. She's literally patting the bench she's sitting on.
Night, Valerie said.
And Azreen is just like, no, we have to go upstairs.
Valorie's been picked up by Azarine.
Down the stairs.
I'll carry you, don't worry.
I think it might be easier if I just took care of because it's like you're the same. No, isn't Valerie taller than you? If you're not,
much taller.
Yeah.
Definitely.
However, remember, I have dipped this woman.
Yeah.
That's not.
Though. It's the power of the dance.
A bridal carry really doesn't like. It's not way harder to bridal carry someone who's taller than you.
Valerie goes for the carry. It's just one arm. It's like a fireman's carry. One arm over the shoulder. It's it's just helping her up the stairs. And they've been dancing all night together, so
she's like dragging her feet, not helping Azarine whatsoever.
And they haven't even drank.
One foot in front of the other.
They haven't even drank. Weaklings.
Brukil gets the guitar. Oh, sorry, Valerie.
Foot in front of. She's slumping.
Eventually, after several minutes of trying, you get to the top of the stairs and you find your doors waiting for you.
I put Valerie to bed. I tuck her in. I make sure that she has all the pillows arranged just so. And then I go back downstairs once she's all ready for bed and rejoin the other two. It's been a very eventful evening for her.
Looks like it's been an eventful evening for you too.
My,
You look stressed.
a tiny bit. Graham, I'm gonna kill you.
And she's got her little duck in her hands.
You have what in your hands?
The
Little
duck.
duck.
Oh, yeah, okay. He kind of just waves down the inn owner, tavern guy. And he just kind of just fishes out a few gold, a few rounds of your good stuff, please.
He looks at you, he looks at the clock, he looks at your gold, he shrugs. All right.
Can I get another juice, please?
And a juice for her, please.
He fucking just waves his hand. On the house.
Oh, thank you.
And he pours you another juice before you depart to bed. He stands there.
Brooke rolls her eyes slightly and she orders her own stuff because.
Gareth, don't worry about the gold for the drink. Your friends have performed admirably tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you, Valerie.
He puts out a few glasses. He's very clearly packing up for the night, but he doesn't seem to mind doing this for the people who have unwittingly just won him a lot of fair patronage for the evening. So he puts out a glass.
Valerie in spirit.
Valerie in spirit. Valerie, you feel warm in bed. You've exhausted yourself, but you've done so many good things for the rest of your party. There is
I think it would be safe for me to refrain from drinking when in public spaces.
I think that's for the best.
Agreed.
The ship wasn't too terrible.
I don't have to keep myself sober though.
Oh, Lassie, do you mind turning the siren for me?
What did you say? Sorry, I did not understand that.
Lassie, you, the girl, the dancers, can you turn the sign for me on the door, on the window, rather?
Oh, yes, of course. And I go ahead and turn the sign.
Thank you. It's open to close. There's really no more than that.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I sit back down. So what'd you find out?
Well, response from Grisha Tapel was quicker than I anticipated. Question: Is the inn guy just there?
No, I mean he's packing up for the night. He's gonna pour your drinks, and unless you wanted any more, he's going to leave. He's not concerned. He pulls down a gate, like an actual like cage gate that locks off the liquor as well as the safe. Ooh. He just opens up and takes the money out, and he brings it with him. He's not concerned with you guys. Yeah, no, everything is locked up. He's cool with you guys just hanging out and drinking to your heart's content in the bottom as long as you don't make a disturbance and wake up any of the other patrons. But he's gonna go and depart in the next 10 minutes. He just goes in his back. He grabs his jacket. He goes upstairs. He says goodnight to you, and he goes to his own private apartment within this building. He leaves. It's the last dregs of the bottle, so he just leaves the bottle on the table for the rest of you guys to finish off if you wanted to. Otherwise, he just tells you to pour it out. And he leaves, so it's just the three of you. Valerie's asleep upstairs.
Yeah, because exhaustion, baby.
Yeah, it's tough.
Everything.
But Valerie, you made a lot of money with your exhaustion.
You made some cash. And get our teams on edge for a variety of reasons. Not just we might die, but for a variety of reasons. I'm just gonna say a variety of reasons, just
a variety of reasons.
A variety of reasons. He's not really prepared for any of them either.
As reasons are wont to do.
Brooke cocks an eyebrow and she's just like, All right. Apparently he has gone full man now. I am not going to ask any questions.
Well, we do have quite pressing issues. The shipmaster, one of the four heads of the Inquisition, is currently in the same city as us. Most
don't think
like
You don't think he knows, do you?
Of course he knows.
I
A rogue agent doesn't go unnoticed.
I mean, maybe the news hasn't hit yet.
But as much as I would hate to say, I believe he knows all too well.
Why don't all three of you, Valerie, I'm gonna have you roll with the rest of the party because I don't want you to have basically taken this entire game off. So I'm gonna encourage you to still be a part of this, even if it's in spirit. Everybody, roll a investigation check for me, or insight, depending on which you might.
What am I
find
gonna
better.
dream
Investigation or I can do insight?
Can I do insight instead?
Yes, you may.
about it?
Valerie's asleep, unfortunately. Gareth, you have that point of inspiration if you wanted to re-roll.
Fucking right, I do. I'm using it.
All right, it's up to you.
Please don't fuck
this
it
is
up.
This is a cumulative roll. 7 plus 23. Azrin, did you want to roll insight again?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
I gave-
You rolled before I said
a
so.
one. I gave a
30.
1 to this overall.
Oh, thank you, Brughill, you beautiful dwarf.
Plus 13. The total being 55 breaks the DC of 50. Fantastic. Good that you re-rolled it, Gareth. Good job. There is no fucking way that Otto has managed to send the wanted sign for Gareth and or the rest of you three downriver. Like, you guys were the first ship out down to Queen's Landing. Unless they have access to sending or some other magic like that to send it across the oceans, but even then magics have some kind of limit.
Does this setting not have messenger pigeons?
Across continents?
I mean, we were in Withrow, and we're getting the news to Queen's Landing.
To Queen's Landing. It's
Oh no,
Curious.
He's not normally. He's not.
no, I don't think they do because we're in it would be too dangerous for the carrier. Like, even the carrier pigeons wouldn't have been able to get there that fast, and I don't think they can operate at that distance anyway. Gareth to Queen's Landing, not without interference from various fantasy animals that would want them dead because they're prey. But no, you guys. I say you guys beat the news, but probably only by a day. You probably have 2 free days, maybe 3 free days in Umbridge Run before the next steamship comes, and that's gonna have flyers and information. Maybe they sent something via sending, but Gareth is is sending is something that even I think has a limit. I don't know what the limit is. It might. I think it's on the same realm of existence. But even if they did that, there's only so many select people in the Inquisition who have that kind of power, and you don't know if they would have used it on this or not. But it's very unlikely that they were prepared to. Even if they use sending, though, the point I'm trying to make is that, let's say someone from Otto von Balthazar's team used sending to send news to Shipmaster Doman. They still need to take time to print out flyers to disperse to the lesser men.
I'm not worried about the flyers.
You're worried about the Shipmaster. Okay. Well, then I guess you have all the news that you can. I was simply going to give you guys the encouragement that you have a couple of free days in Umbridge Run. You might even have 3. Of before Inquisition, before the flyers of, hey, we're looking for these 4 fugitives, catches up with you. So that's all I really wanted to do with that insight check, was just let you guys know, no, you guys are good for 3 days before the lesser man. Yeah, higher ups might know about you guys, and higher ups might be making plans, but they're not going to be able to disperse it. They're not going to be able to force the trickle down effect to go any faster than it already is. So you guys have those probably 3 free days.
For Gareth, I'm just gonna say. This is worst case scenario. From what he gleaned from the lieutenant, this is literally probably worst case scenario. Just from my assumptions.
What are your assumptions, Gareth? Do you want to share with the class?
or rather your fellow character.
With the class? Oh god.
That's up to Gareth. I'm just gonna bring up
Well,
the
I
point
mean,
that they
no
don't.
one. Wait, no, Brewkill would know.
Brookhill knows that letters have been sent. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but
Azarine has no idea. Gareth just looks like he's
Can
freaking
I roll
out.
insight on Gareth?
Yeah, you're free to do so.
do it.
We can insight check each other.
Oops.
I mean, he looks stressed out. It looks like he's been to Queen's Landing and he definitely learned some stuff in Queen's Landing. That's like, oh, what on earth what am I gonna? He looks very confused. Maybe the most you've ever seen him, because Gareth has always been like, I know what to do next, even if it's a stupid decision.
Even
but
if it's to get completely drunk because fuck water. Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
this is
usually
Gareth
looks like
without a
he has
plan.
Yeah, that's Gareth without a plan.
Well, suppose he does know. I haven't seen anything or heard any news as of late about anyone looking for us. So, by that logic, we should have a couple of days before things get really dicey, but by that time, we should already be split.
I agree. That is quite sound advice, Azarine.
Did you find any advice on what way to take?
Actually, yes. But unfortunately, most of the sanctioned traveling is via Inquisition vehicles. There's not a lot of. There's no coffer bell to help us out here. Unfortunately, we might be able to.
What if we hired a private vessel?
Yes, I was about to say grease some merchant palm.
Blondie, you might wanna. I don't know if you're tapping something or not.
Yeah.
Watch out there.
Sorry.
Right.
Loud bastard.
Yeah, I am.
NBD.
If we grease some merchant's palm, yeah, I believe we might be able to
maybe
secure a way out.
Maybe strike a deal and offer security protection?
Hey.
You got any names? We can do some snooping around.
Let me look at the. We could do. Okay, I'm talking out of character now.
Sure.
We could do the under the bridge kind of area.
Oh, you want to see if you could find some less than reputable Han Solo-esque motherfuckers?
We could do that. My only issue with being hired as protection is that we are the weaklings in this area. We are definitely out of our element.
The locals.
Once we get out on the local, once we get out on the water, though.
That's true. I mean, Umbridge Run is level appropriate for it's a level 4 to 5 area, but it's is that place rides the line that Gareth is describing. That below the bridge area is like that in between. Like, we're not strong enough to swim with the big fishes in Queen's Landing, but we have more important business to attend to than what's in Umbridge Run. So it is that like right on the territory of like. Just to give you, what Gareth witnessed from shut up, shut up, you fish. Witnessed from afar, the general understanding. But that's one of those things where it'd have to be research for next time. I think we're keep going. I'm gonna write down some notes of what you guys are talking about.
So if we offer ourselves up as like mercenary hands for a deck, maybe they'd be a little bit more lenient with the pricings.
I suppose.
Intimidation always works.
Yeah,
Worst case scenario, what we could do is we could travel by foot up to what's this island here?
That's Cape Solomon. That's where you're
That's
going.
after Cape Solomon.
All right.
You could do the whole journey on foot.
We could go on
That
foot
would
and
be
travel the coast.
hell. I'm saying I don't care that.
I mean, we did Windthrow to Kiras, so
Yeah.
like Queen's Landing to Cape Solomon can't be that
it's
bad.
feasible. How far do you reckon this would take?
That's from Kirith to Queen's Landing was like 3 weeks by boat, so this is That's probably
need
going to
a
be
big
like a
place
few
to
weeks
put.
of travel. Well, you guys didn't do that whole. What you guys did was this from taking away some of the mystique. You guys did this from foot.
All right.
Yeah, you had some benefit from being washed down the marshlands, and also the benefit of babies first. Like I was going a little bit easier on the travel, because you guys didn't have rations yet and stuff like that, and I didn't want to turn the first half of my campaign into surviving the fucking marshes. So I was retroactively, I almost feel like I should retcon saying it took you several days to get out of the marshes and get to Kirith. But I'd rather not do that, and I'd rather just say like it was easy going because you guys got washed down the way, and all the things that would have been deadly to you were distracted with other more important things. But us going forwards, that's gonna be like a 3 hex crawl. That's looking like maybe 3 weeks of on foot travel at least.
But that's on foot, like no horses or
Yeah.
caravans or anything.
I mean, yeah.
So
You guys could try to find
So,
horses and stuff.
hey, Brucode.
What?
Like while Garrick does seem kind of lost and kind of like, you know, he's like a little overwhelmed. You do, because you saw this kind of look on like this look starts to kind of grow on his face as he's trying to process and think of something, and you saw this when back in Kirith, when he, like right before he decided to go talk to Otto, you kind of like he starts giving off the same vibe of like
gonna do something stupid.
stupid / something very personal.
Huh.
mm,
She squints at him, and she doesn't say anything just yet. Although, is he looking at that paper with the names?
No, he's not looking at the paper. No. It's
Yeah, no, I just
like
wanted to snatch the
he
paper.
handed you. He could have handed one of y'all the paper.
The paper that says Tiffany with a little heart on it?
Oh no, not that. Oh fuck.
This is, I
No, he
thought
doesn't
it was
have
the
that.
same
He's like,
basic
oh yeah,
thing.
there's this, and his thumb is covering that name. He's like, yeah, there's all this.
Oh, if we want to grab a bite to eat, to Gareth's credit, he has 2 pieces of paper. One that has the transport information, and the
okay.
other one is just the one that's like,
I thought it
oh,
was
you
all-
want some place to eat? Sure.
Oh, my Christ. Okay, yeah, no, I hand
separate paper.
the clean one. the non-incriminating one.
As
Like, the
delicious
unwilling.
as it would
not
be.
incriminated. Like you're.
Oh,
As
Gareth is
delicious as it would
he's
be.
such a fucking virgin.
oh my God.
He's a special boy. He's our himbo.
You guys feel the air around you feels a little bit different.
What the
Are we
fuck?
planning something again?
Oh no, what have you done? What happens, Valerie?
Valerie's just talking to them from upstairs in her bed with minor illusion downstairs.
There's a Star Wars-esque hologram of like a mini Valerie that's just on the bar, and it's like all blue and hazy. It's really weird, and she's just here now.
Are we planning something again?
Yeah.
I'm too tired
so.
to come downstairs.
Yeah. That's bloody genius. You'll have to show me how to do that.
Yes, dwarf.
I might be able to seem like I can look at you guys, but I can't.
maybe
Wait,
we
can you
should.
hear us?
Valerie, for the sake of the narrative, you can hear their voices very cleanly with your astute elf-like ears from upstairs, so you can respond in kind.
Perhaps we should move this conversation upstairs to Valerie's room. For the sake of everyone around us. And she looks at Gareth, who does not look happy with the magic use, and she's seen this look before.
No, I'm not.
Brooke like touch it, like she like pokes at the illusion with her hands, you know, like the wavy hologram. She's just like, oh, interesting.
Stop, that makes it hard for me to control it.
Anyways. Yes, I believe we should probably go to our quarters. We can continue talking with Valerie, and like I guess we can just
Yeah.
like fucking.
Yeah, the conversation,
like,
we resume, and now in Valerie. Valerie is in the exact same position in bed, just lying. Everyone's pulled up some chairs and is like at the table overlooking the city. But please continue.
Garrett, as Garrett's talking, he is kind of just like peeking out of the window, just like every
Roll
few
perception.
minutes. Yeah, okay. Oh God.
I think we're on our own for
Both-
this one.
Both of them. Fuck. Both.
Oh. I really like it when the small character things that people choose to do that's just sort of like character building, like, oh, my character would do this, turn out to be very cool and important. Gareth, you look out the window and see over the bay the Kaiser moving down the river.
Damn.
Several boats are in the harbor, several boats are out on the ocean with their lights and lanterns lit. There's activity. You don't think the Kaiser can fit down the river, but it has smaller boats that actually
Right.
it can launch as well. So it's probably going to go upriver, and then maybe it'll launch the boats. Who knows? But the Kaiser is moving underneath the bridges.
Okay, they're going to be going downriver, but
They're going towards Kirith.
towards Kirith. Right.
I mean, what happens is Gareth pulls the curtain back a little bit, and there's like it's very bright light. Like there's many fires lit upon the bow of the Kaiser. It's a big ship. It looks like a piece of the city is just like leaving, and it's going downriver. Yeah, I think everybody sees this. Like once Gareth pulls it back and sort of like reveals the light, it's like kind of hard to miss. It's like a lighthouse.
I mean,
really
I can
huge.
see what kind of strings I can pull.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely that we'll find anyone of, well, my descent, but it can't hurt to try. I mean, we merfolk tend to stick together. At least I think we do.
It's worth spending one of our last days as free men to have a look around, I suppose.
We might have just a couple of days, so that gives us plenty of time to find a vessel, get replenishment on our supplies, and then on the third day we can head out.
Some plan is better than no plan at all.
A question, Gray, DM. So while I know the Kaiser probably won't go all the way down, is it like I'm Gareth is now watching the boat, by the way, as they're talking.
Sure.
Is it planning to stay undocked, or is it just positioning itself to, provide the vessels and then return without, kind of like, you know what I'm asking?
The only thing that Gareth would know is that the Windthrow River is wide enough to the halfway point to fit a ship like the Kaiser. Then it becomes very rocky, narrow,
Right.
and flat. So
So
even if
it
it
is
wanted to,
go-
it couldn't go all the way up. If that's what it's doing, I don't think you can read the mind of the pilot, though, the navigator. But it's
His
capable
ship
of
doesn't
going
move
halfway
fast
up.
enough to.
And as he's watching it, he's kind
Good to hear.
of like muttering to himself. He's like, I don't think the headmaster would go let anyone else drive the ship, and because he's like trying to think. He's like, can I actually get back towards Queen's Land, like the Isle, a little bit? Do I actually have a little more leeway now because he's on the ship? Like he is, like trying to he's muttering to himself, trying to formulate something.
Can I discern if he's thinking about doing something stupid?
Roll insight.
Yes, he is.
I mean,
I
Brooke
feel
already
like-
figured it out with a 5.
18.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's not. I think at this point you know
It's
Gareth well
not
enough to have.
stupid. Because if
Yeah.
it was stupid, I would have gone into the fucking.
Well, like, actually, it's funny. Purely Salty's here, who is the player, hasn't actually said what Gareth is planning on doing, and yet everyone immediately has suspicion. So I feel like your characters would have suspicion as well. Of, like, he's gonna do
Fair
something
enough.
stupid, isn't he? So no, you free are all to interpret your
What?
characters.
Are you thinking about abandoning us and eloping on that boat with whoever?
Absolutely not.
He's gonna elope with Tiffany.
Unfortunately, Gareth, I know you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I don't think we can pull any more Inquisitor stuff anymore. Especially since words are starting to get out, and God's forbid if anyone finds out about you in the middle of this, being basically wanted, it's not gonna end very well for any of us. And I think it's best if we just stick with the four of us at this point.
Gareth doesn't say anything. He's quiet, like, and he's just kind of playing, like his hand kind of goes up to his chest, where like you can actually see this like crescent moon necklace that's kind of just out on his jacket. Like normally it's tucked in underneath his armor, but it is kind of just hanging. And he's just kind of like rubbing against like the smooth edge. And then he stops. He like with like a like he stops like suddenly. He's like, you're right, Azarin. We should focus on fanning out and getting a way out of here first and foremost.
Okay.
I am quite tired from the day. I'm gonna be retiring now.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. And Gareth is gonna leave.
All right.
Yeah,
I was gonna
Brookhill
be
follows Gareth.
I was gonna be an Aslan. So, did you see her? She's like, she has this huge smile. She's just like,
oh, did she? Oh, she's. I don't know what you're talking about.
Brookhill knows about the necklace and she knows about Celica, so you're fucked.
Don't know what you're talking about, for.
I think you do. My girlfriend who gave you that pretty necklace of yours. She's here, isn't she?
She's not.
Oh, but you hope she is. I was gonna say you. I hope she's here. Like you hope she's here, but he said she's not my girlfriend.
He's just like
precise.
She's not the only one. I don't believe.
Careful tapping the table.
Oh, yep. Sorry, God.
That's your only girlfriend?
No, not my only girlfriend. He's way too many familiar faces. I believe are all coming in, and I expected maybe one, but this many is.
The family's all here. How touching.
Uh-oh. Valerie, like, tucks her head under her blankets.
We should probably lock you in your room or something.
I don't think you could if I really wanted to. Anyways, I was telling the truth. I am tired. I am going to go to bed.
Alright. We'll figure stuff out tomorrow. Oh, hey, give me that paper. I'll see what I can do. I might know somebody.
The travel papers.
Well,
yeah.
You know, the paper with the company names, the...
It was like three ships and 2 caravans, I believe it was what it was. I mean, it's up to Gareth.
She holds on her hand. She's
well,
like,
the thing is, like, out of character, it's all Inquisitioner related. Like, there's no non-Inquisition affiliated name on this.
Yeah, okay.
Do you? I mean, this is
I thought she gave you some like private.
Nope,
she said she might be able to
Yeah.
get some like that if Gareth comes back tomorrow.
He has to go on that date. He doesn't have a choice.
Oh, he's gonna have to go on the date.
You could take the paper anyway and see what there is to see. But Gareth
I
has,
have a few leads of my own.
Brookhill shrugs and she heads to her own room. Guess it's bedtime for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, unless if the other three want to talk.
Valerie, Azrin, you good?
Gareth.
Azrine's just like she's like helping Valerie get as much sleep as she possibly can.
Valerie's just being like a little freaking asshole kid and like playing around with minor illusion now because now she's entertaining herself and Azrine's like, stop.
Valerie, you need to stop. It's time for bed.
Mm.
She like puts her hand over Valerie's hand that's casting the minor illusion. It's like, it's time to stop.
Valerie like says no under her breath, like no noise comes out, but the illusion just like breaks apart and dies, and she looks heartbroken.
Valerie, roll a
And then-
Constitution saving throw at disadvantage, please.
Azreen at this point starts to hum again.
Oh, Fortuna. What is Azreen doing?
She's just humming.
Valerie is mourning her lost friend that
and-
never existed.
Hey, does Valerie
She
still have
says-
a mouse?
It's time
I'm pretty
to-
sure. I don't
it's
think it
time
left.
to- She's humming and she says it's time to go to sleep. And she needs to oh wait, I don't think oh god. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
So,
Fortuna.
are you aware that I have a thing called Fey Ancestry?
God damn it!
You have advantage on saving throws.
Valerie just like glances.
And magic can't put you to sleep.
Well, that's like if someone tried to cast the sleep spell on Valerie. But this is different. This is casting suggestion, and then it would be asking her to put down her own natural barrier to go to sleep voluntarily. So there is still a saving throw.
Oh.
It is a wisdom saving throw.
I think Valerie will succeed because she has advantage,
Nope.
but she doesn't.
Valerie's giving Azreen a childish glare and then just slumps her head down. And she tried to cast up the little like illusion of herself again in her palm, and the illusion also falls over and disappears.
The illusion falls asleep, and then unfortunately, you fall asleep.
Azreen stands up, pulls the covers over tightly. That was easy. And she quietly leaves.
I believe, unless anybody has anything to contradict in the matter, the four of you go to sleep. You go to your beds, you tuck yourselves in. Gareth, the beds are just barely big enough if you sleep from diagonal.
It's fine. He'll tuck his legs a little bit.
There you go. But the four of you wash up then to go to bed for the night. It's comfortable. You guys are finally sleeping in it's not quite for Valerie it was like being at home, and it wasn't a bad sleep or anything like that, but here it's like, it's a nice hotel. The linens are washed, a handmaiden comes through, and a hand fellow comes through every now and then, and Brookhilde is chainsawing her way through the doors as we speak. And the four of you wake up in the morning at whatever time it is your character would usually wake up, plus an hour. You guys have been up pretty late.
Noon.
Okay, so
1
1 o'clock in the
PM.
afternoon. Brookhilde. I have a feeling is that someone's gonna force Brookhilde awake. Is what that means.
Yep.
But yeah, Azreen
Okay.
wakes up at 10. Gareth probably wakes up at like 8.
She's understanding now the concept of like when we're in the wilderness, you need to not make the noise of 5 bears partying, and like you need to get up before the sun starts going down. But when she's like somewhere safe, like an inn or a house, like she goes right back to just
It is
the
over.
regular old noisy
Or rather, it's just begun.
hibernating bear killed.
Yeah, Valerie wakes up pretty late too, just by virtue of being exhausted. And I think I'll probably have you reroll Constitution later, Valerie, because I feel like it might be a little too cruel to have you be exhausted this entire day, which seemingly is going to become more and more important as the more I hear about what plans you want to do.
Playing as Valerie is fun. Valerie's just a dumb little child when she's tired.
I noticed.
In the morning, we're gonna stop soon, but I'm just gonna do some quick stuff. In the morning, I believe. First question. This doesn't need to take very long. Does anybody return back to the Riverboat Core to possibly collect whatever reward is waiting for you?
I do.
I'll go with her.
Okay, the two of you go and collect it, and if you guys want
Are
to
you
talk
going
with the
to
Riverboat
acknowledge the thing that she's done?
Core, do you know if you've been suggested if you'd succeed? Probably.
Most likely. Especially since she has mentioned that.
I didn't mean to do it. Does it immediately on the next party member?
She
Was
really
being an
doesn't know.
asshole, though, and it was for her own good.
And it was a course of action that did sound reasonable. It was go to bed.
It felt like falling asleep. It did not feel like
Perfect conditions. to be
doing
activity.
something like I don't know.
I don't know. I'll look it up later, but I don't think for Valerie it would have any big ramifications anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Probably don't care.
Valerie's fine with magic.
You guys go to the Riverboat Core, and they have 120 gold pieces waiting for you.
Ooh!
And it
Do
is
you want to
between
out
the
of
four of
character
us.
split that out? Like out of character split that up? Like magically split it up?
yeah, like the gold miraculously ends up in Gareth's like possession, even though he didn't actually go with him to the Riverboat Core and Brookhill as well. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
That'd be
Just
30
chest
gold for
weights up
everybody.
with
That's
money.
fine.
I'm
So
cool
everyone
with
gets
that.
30?
Yeah,
30 each.
30 each sounds great to me.
Oh,
Everybody gets
3-0.
30. We might RP this later if you want to. I just want to take care of the bookkeeping now before I ended. But Valerie, the captain is the one who gives it to, and he says it's both for like, oh, what happened to the trading post and taking care of that, but also like protecting our ship and like keeping us alive. And the corporal like gives you a hearty handshake. And they even at this point they'd like to give you some medals. They would like to hand off these like 4 little honorary patches for you to guys add to your character's inventory or whatever you'd like to do with them. They're small little iron-on stars, essentially. They're sewn on, obviously, but that's the equivalent of what they are. If you wanted to, we'll RP that next time, but I just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time because your characters would know. And also in the morning, there is a herald outside in the main square who is singing the destruction of Fort Dullahan.
Let's hear it. Fucking newsboy.
This is
Come on,
Ragnar the Red. No. Okay, yeah, sure. Here we'll
Once
do it. 1
was a
second.
hero named Colonel Copperbell.
Well, wait, did you see what I sent you?
No. Let me see.
Oh,
Fuck you. I hate your guts.
Yeah. Well,
We'll see. In the morning.
Fort Dullahan falls to foreign invasion. Dark ritual summons occult creature. 4 taken as responsible. More news at the Inquisition base come tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
tight.
Please
I'd
avoid the
imagine
area.
Azarine's kind of like irritated with Valerie right now because she's still tired and she finds everything kind of funny. And she just finds the way this guy's talking entertaining to her.
Wow. It's a fucking disability, you dick.
What the fuck? His radio disability.
I just sound like this ever since the accident. How dare you?
But no, it is let's see, medals for the party from Riverboat for RBC. Yeah, let's see here. It is the very beginning of the morning. You guys are getting breakfast. Maybe Azarine went and took care of that before. Maybe she didn't. Maybe it happens afterwards. Probably Azarine and Valerie went out real quick to go grab the reward, and you bring back medals before breakfast, essentially. Then it's probably a few minutes before you realize that Gareth has not come down the stairs to join you. What does anybody do in response to this? Brookhill, at this point, Azarine has knocked on your door to wake you up. You're getting ready.
Yeah.
But you're probably still in your room. But yeah, Gareth is not currently at the breakfast. What do you do with this information?
Wait, Gareth isn't at breakfast?
No, he has not come down yet.
I also knock on his door.
There's no response.
I knock a little harder.
There's no response.
Brookhill comes
I
out of her
carelessly
own
kick
room.
the door as hard as I can.
Athletics, please. Yes, you can.
I was going to do
No,
exactly
what?
that.
Brookhill taps on Azarine's shoulder and goes, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care." And then Valerie comes busting through instead. Valerie, roll athletics, please. With advantage. It's not like you didn't have a preparation for this. Not
I
spur of the
don't want
moment.
to pay for a replacement door.
It's unlocked.
I don't care.
Oh
Boom!
my god.
It swings open with a hard slap, and you just see an empty room with just Gareth.
It's time for
I believe Gareth left his things here, though. Like his bag is here, probably. Like stuff.
Like some stuff.
Yeah, some possessions of Gareth are still here, but Gareth is not.
Why does he always insist on lying to us?
Brookhill looks under the bed.
You found him. He's
Yeah,
underneath
Gareth's
the bed.
there.
Gareth's
Right there.
there.
He was hiding. You got
did
him.
it. You did it. I'm so
Congratulations.
proud of you. Yeah.
She looks at the bed. She looks out the window. See him on the streets.
I mean, you see people.
There.
Do
know,
I see
he's-
Gareth?
I don't think you
No.
do. No, I don't think you do. Sorry.
I'm going to kill him.
She Her nails dig into the wood.
To be honest, everybody,
I
DM doesn't
see.
even know why he's done this.
Oh, I had a stroke of brilliance. It's
Not
great.
to go to the Inquisition.
You know
I
what?
am not
Why
going
does
to
nobody
be-
listen to me?
If that idiot gets his ass imprisoned, that's his own fucking problem.
You know we're gonna have to get him if he does it.
I am not getting him out.
Well, maybe you won't, but
I'll have a stern talking to him. And you've never seen Azreen angry. You have never seen Azreen angry. You didn't even
Is
think
she
she
angry now?
could be angry. Yes.
She's angry.
She is
Ooh.
angry.
Her fangs are barred.
Yeah, her shark teeth are just out.
Her razor sharp fucking teeth. All right, yeah, and I believe that's what we're gonna call it.
Yep.
Fare thee well, stream. Bye.
Bye.